It still says ale. We go over this every time. It says
that's just
ale.
like fruit juice that's gone bad and fermented. That's not actually ale.
What do you call wine?
That's closer to wine, but it is beer.
It's still good.
And welcome to the Weekly Apologies podcast.
you literally can't argue his point, you know.
Yep, this is what we do now. This is what we do now.
This is who we are.
This is who we are, indeed. But welcome to the Weekly Apologies podcast. You may or may not know this about us as a podcast, but for the most part, we're pretty big idiots. Destiny fans. All idiots, too.
All the cool people here are Destiny fans, which means Hoop hates it. Come on. Point proven. Point proven.
So
I'm just going to eat this, and y'all can talk.
So,
Cake
something
makes you fat.
Oh my god.
It's not cake. Is it cake?
Is it cake?
It's not even cake.
The cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie?
This is not cake.
Wait, what did you say? Did you send something to me? No? Okay. Never mind. So, in case you guys were unaware, last week in LA, Destiny 2 was revealed. With the gameplay, I know, and as it's there's a very interesting kind of dichotomy to this group that I think is interesting, and one of the reasons that we brought ShadowCawn on, who was our second choice, but hey, we'll have to deal with it. He called me on it, so there was this big misunderstanding earlier, right? So Lagnus says in my Discord, do you guys have a guest tonight for Weekly Apologies? And I said, no, I wanted to, but it fell through. And by that, what I was really saying was I didn't do it because I was busy, but I said it fell through, so whatever. And after ShadowCawn says yes, he comes back to me and goes, by the way, I now know that I was your second choice. And I write back, and I'm immediately looking at my tweets. I'm like, did I tweet out the wrong name? Did I do something wrong? And so I write back, I went to Dammit Bennett first, who was the first person we talked to, because I don't play D&D with him every single week, so it would be nice to talk to the guy. And B, how the hell did you know you were the second choice? And he goes, I saw Lagnus said this thing in Discord. I was like, oh, damn it, I just put my own foot in my mouth. Because I could have been like, oh, no, that was just my excuse, man. But, yep, so that's what happened there. But no, Shadow, I said, all right, I'm going to ask Bennett, and when he said that he worked late, I said, we need somebody, who do we go to? And the first name that came up was you, and so we're really glad that you were able to join, seeing as we asked him today. This was like a mega short notice request, and he's here, and that's super awesome, so thanks for being here. But what's cool about this group, in terms of the Destiny 2 reveal, is that we have people from all different variations of Destiny as of right now that can talk about this. We have Hoop down below, who played a little bit of year one, but hasn't touched it since, and is a PC gamer, so he's looking, you know, we're looking to him for his thoughts on it as a PC game. We have Rams, who's kind of you probably argue me on this, but you're a casual Destiny fan. Okay,
I'm cool with it.
Some people get really offended by that.
Less than 25 hours a week.
Yeah, casual Destiny gamer. Then we have myself and ShadowCawn, who can both identify to a degree as Destiny streamers. I've shied away from it a lot as of the last few months and year probably, but both of us have gotten a really good foundation in the Destiny community. But ShadowCawn is the Destiny streamer. I'm a Destiny streamer, but I just got back from the reveal, which I went to last week. So I have the perspective of somebody who's actually played Destiny 2, and he has somebody who's a Destiny streamer who didn't get to play Destiny 2 yet. So we actually have 4 different walks within Destiny gameplay lifestyles. I don't really know what I'm saying, but you get the point. We all come from different frames of mind. You're losing it,
Blue. You're losing it. Yeah,
I'm losing it. I was doing a good job.
Perspectives.
Unique perspectives. That's why we have people like ShadowCawn on the show, to keep this shit together. So that being said,
my job.
there's a bazillion different ways that we could jump into this topic right now. But I want to just open up the floor to anyone who wants to start. Is there anything that anyone feels like mega passionately about right now and says this because Destiny 2?
Well,
I knew it was going to be Rams.
Okay, so this is, as far as like passionate, I came to terms that I was going to lose my Destiny 1 character. All the rumors, everything that came out was that you were going to start new, completely new.
Yeah, what'd you expect? It's a new game.
I came to terms with it. Now I'm hearing that you get to import your character.
Oh, no, you get to import the physical look of your character.
That doesn't matter. In my heart, it's importing my character. It's the same with Mass Effect 2 to 3, right? You imported a character. You could change the class if you wanted to, but yeah, you imported.
Is this really
right?
like this? Isn't new.
This is it. I did. Okay, I had. I was out of Twitch for like 6 weeks for training. Actually, it was like 8 weeks for training.
This was like when they announced the game. This was one of the things that when they announced it really was. ShadowCawn, back me up. This was like when they announced Destiny 2 was a game.
I thought that last week.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's not new news.
That's the heartbreaking thing for me.
Why is it heartbreaking?
I came to terms with it. Like I had a lot of talks with my.
You said goodbye, and you went and you sat down with Zavala and said,
even
"I'm gonna miss you."
I got an Xbox recently, and I was like starting Destiny just for whatever, and I was like, it doesn't matter what I choose because it's just we're gonna throw it away. We're just gonna throw it away.
Oh, you are.
Oh.
Personally, I'm kind of excited to start brand new.
I got excited.
I will keep my Titan. My day one Titan I will keep.
See, I'm the same with my Warlock. It's like, I'd love to import my Warlock, but I could care less about my other characters just because that was my beginning into Destiny. Like, the grand journey is I started Warlock. I've pretty much always been a Warlock. So I'd love to be able to carry it over, but I love the fact that it's not, oh, hey, we're pulling your whole character, guns, everything over. It's just, hey, you know, if you really connected with your character cosmetically, sure, you can play that, or you can start a brand new character. Like, I like that you can branch that way over.
Deej, I don't know what day Destiny 2 comes out, so.
I don't know it comes out September 8th, but I can guarantee you that Telltale Games will release the next major title that I want to play on that fucking day. Because Telltale Games must have something against Bungie, because when Rise of Iron dropped, Batman Episode 1 came out. When Age of Triumph came out, it was like Episode 3 or 4, I think it was Episode 3 of that, or it was the beginning of Guardians or something. Like, and then yeah, like every fucking time there's a release for Destiny, Telltale's like, hey, you know that game you've been waiting for? Same fucking day. And I'm just like, hate you. Like, so
usually nothing ever releases in September. Like, September is a pretty dry month. So.
Yeah, because everyone's getting ready for holiday releases. So, but Bungie is weird. Like, they don't do I mean, they're gonna E3 it this year because the game's already announced, and Activision's gonna want to get.
D1 came out in September.
Yeah, no, it did. But I'm saying, like, Bungie's always gone against the grain. They always do their own events. They always do it on their own timeline. They never release things with the normal, you know, just the regular release schedule of everyone else. They're never in the giant announcements because, frankly, everyone looks forward to these E3 announcements. But think about it: has anyone? What's the name of the game now? Days Gone? Is that the one, the crazy zombie one that everyone thought was gonna be?
That was last year.
Yeah. Remember? Who's fucking talking about that? That trailer came out and everyone was like, "This looks great," and no one talks about it because it got buried in everything else.
But what about Sea of Thieves?
There's nothing that comes out in September that's noteworthy besides Destiny.
We're not going to talk too much about Sea of Thieves tonight, but I came to terms today with the fact I'm losing my hype for the game.
Me too. Today at work in the bathroom, like, oh yeah, that game.
Yep, and I actually can, every single Wednesday I have the ability to play it. I could skip streaming before the podcast one of these days and play it. You know, it's under NDA, so I can't talk about it, but I could play it every single Wednesday, and I just don't. Because I'm like, I'd rather stream and do my podcast. Like, they're dragging this out so far that I'm just kind of like losing my hype for it, which sucks. But
I think that's kind of like why Bungie does their own thing with releases and why E3 is relevance. Like every single year, there's less and less actual reveals, actual stuff. It's just mostly cinematic trailers, maybe a release date here and there, which is nice. But generally, here's a new IP, here's a cinematic trailer. Next, and that's what E3 is now for gamers. And so I think a lot of major things get released on their own damn time and own damn marketing.
I'm looking forward to the Bethesda event.
Oh yeah, Bethesda always does a good job.
I mean, yeah. Let's be honest. I think Bethesda's probably my favorite show just to watch at E3.
And
sure.
I'll just plug this. I don't re-stream it or anything. I don't capture it onto my own stream, even though that's usually open to streamers if they want to do it. But I do watch it, and I think what we'll do is, in place of a movie night, we'll do a couple of E3 events in Discord or something, or just in Discord chat or something. We'll figure it out. But last year and the year before, I actually had people hanging out in like voice chat and just watching it. It was neat. So, but Destiny 2, lots of information came out about the game that made it really interesting. A lot of people saying it looks the same. A lot of people thinking that it's not enough different. Where do you jump in? Is this something you even care about? Are you just looking forward to the game? I'd love to know what Hoop has to say about the PC side of it. Does it look like a PC game you'd want to play? Like, where do you guys want to go from here? Where do you want to start?
I guess we could start with the people complaining about it looking the same.
Let's rip that one off like a Band-Aid real quick and get it out of here, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of stupid to people to complain because it's gonna look the same because it's the same fucking universe. There's not much they can change without changing the game in an entire aspect. Like we were having a talk in Twitter or something like that about the potential of some people wanting it to have been like an RPG style, where it was going to be more on the lines of, I guess, kind of a Borderlandsy or
kind of MMO, more MMO.
Yeah, more MMO. Not like you pick a class, but like you pick a character and then you delve into different trees. Like that'd be cool. That'd be great for me and people like me who really enjoy actual RPGs. That's not going to be great for the people who play this game because it's a shooter. It's going to definitely force the more casual player to generally not enjoy the game as much because it's not as interesting. It's a different game style altogether, and they also have to change up a few ways things work as well. And then another thing is people complaining about the classes being the same. I mean, from what I understand, the Titan, Warlock and Hunter, they're kind of the only Guardian styles, right? So I don't see why that would change. Suddenly new Guardian shows up, you could play, I don't know, one of the Red Legion? Whatever the fuck they're called? People blowing up shit.
Yeah, the bad guys?
Yeah. I don't see that kind of shit happening.
Yeah, the big change that I thought would happen was I guess it would be more of my Hail Mary guess was that they would change it to traditional RPG style, like we talked about, where you choose a tree, and then you kind of spec down. A lot of people were like Borderlands. I'm like, no, not like Borderlands, because Borderlands you pick a class first. I'm talking more like Nioh, which had like the most insane skill tree I've ever fucking seen. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at that skill tree. It's insane.
Oh yeah.
But even like a Skyrim, except instead of having 1,000 trees that you go up, just having like 1 or 2 major trees that cover most things. And as you spec, your character kind of gets defined. That's what I expected. Not expected, but thought if they were going to branch away from the standard, that's the direction they might go. And when people fight the fight of it being too similar, and I bring up that, I go, but now if they had gone that route, is that not too different? So when do you make people happy?
Also, that's not the same game. Like right now, the flexibility that one player has, I think that's the rise of the Sherpas that we have. It's like, okay, we need this role filled. Let me change a few things in my subclass, and now we can get this done. It's also great for just strategizing in general. You can be as simple game or as complex as you want. You can just choose, here's, I want to jump high, okay, and I want this type of grenade, okay. You can, and this much armor, and you can choose very simply. Or you can really strategize and change mid-game on what what you want your abilities to be, and your movement and all the. So I see that now in the really, really well-versed Destiny players, that they can adjust, before a certain part of the game or even mid-game, to be flexible and to really get those speed strats down, or just help out noobs.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I don't disagree at all.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit, but I'm just offering up
a game if you're like, you choose your path. Yeah, it'd be more RPG, but not Destiny.
That's one thing that honestly I had kind of hoped for. It would have been really cool to see where it's like, so say I'm a warrior class, or not a warrior, a warlock class, and say there's a particular skill tree that's in another class that I'd really like to branch into, or maybe I don't want to, kind of like how right now we have the artifacts that nullifies your super. Maybe I want to be a guy that's really stacked high on my stats, but I don't have that super one-shot kill super, and I just have a bunch of perks that enable me to do really cool things, but I don't have a super. Or maybe the reverse side of that. Maybe I just want to solely spec into a super and not really have like a grenade or a melee. So I thought that would be a really cool branch to see, maybe where they take it, and instead of you've got a super, you've got a grenade, you've got a melee, and then here's your stats. I really would have loved to see, like, hey, we've got certain stack, or like, as a warlock, maybe I wanted to be able to get a juggernaut, a quote-unquote juggernaut shield, as a thing, so I'd have to kind of branch over into another class, but I couldn't really go that far into it. Or maybe I'm a Titan and wanted blink and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, with that kind of skill tree, it is significantly harder to balance PvP.
Yeah.
And as much as I think most Destiny players would be like, no, it's not a PvP only game, there's a huge focus on PvP right now in Destiny 1, and I'm sure it's still going to be there in Destiny 2.
Actually, more so in Destiny 2.
Yeah, it definitely, PvP for Destiny definitely keeps the game going through content lulls, so.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
It is vital.
So, however, if you wanted, like, if you did the whole spec, like, the dude who wanted just run around, you don't need to be super cool guy, you just have a gun and you can take hits, versus the dude who just has the super cool ability who's going to nuke just about anyone who comes around a corner. That's significantly harder to balance than you have this, everyone has these choices, that's it.
So,
I agree.
I think one way that current Destiny deals with that is that you do have the ability to, do your int, strength, and dis, where, okay, I'm going to spec into intelligence so that my super recharges faster, but then my grenade charges less fast, or my melee charges less fast. So you do have slight control over the three main parts of your abilities. I didn't see much D2 stuff on that.
It's all global cooldowns. There's individual perks that now change that slightly, from what I've heard. But
it seems like it's armor related.
Global cooldowns are for grenades, melees, and the class-specific perk. From what I've understood, that's the case now. And
now, those fine details, though, we don't need to jump into too much because there's nothing that says those won't change dramatically. Those are easy number tweaks. So that kind of stuff can change. And as for all this perk tree stuff we're talking about, this is all semantics because none of it's real. That was just like my theory. That was my long shot into Destiny 2, if they were to change it, was something much more RPG-esque. That is not the only other thing on top of that I would like to add, and I don't think anyone knows, is please let us make more than 3 Guardians. Please. Yeah, I'd like to make more than 3 Guardians. So.
Why is that? I'm really curious, because like if there's, let's assume that there's still only 3 races. Yeah. Or in 3 classes. My God, why did the word leave my brain?
Yeah.
Then why would you need one?
It opens up things like the perma-Destiny challenge. That actually, the
so
one
you
life.
Keep your 3.
Yeah, you keep your 3, and you have, even if it's just a 4th slot to mess with. And yes, then the problem becomes the loot grind. You can loot grind multiple times or whatever, but frankly, let those people that make 12 characters grind 12 raids every single week. Let them. I don't care. Let the Sherpas have the bonus of being able to hit max light in 1 week. In my opinion, that ruins the game. I don't want to do that. That's not me anyway. But as for me, as a player, I like having that freedom. Like, let's say my buddy Hoop decides to get Destiny 2 in February of next year, and he wants to play, and he has no one to play with because everyone's max level. Make a new character and play with my buddy Hoop, you know? So...
It would also eliminate that complaint that, you know, hardcore Sherpas do have where after 3 runs, they've got their loot. And so every other run is just for help.
Yep.
Well, it also would help extend longevity of it. I'm screwing up that word, but if you always have a character where you can do content, then people are going to want to do the content. Whereas, like you were just saying, if I'm not a Sherper and I get my 3 done, I don't need to play that content anymore throughout the week. Whereas if I have as many characters I want and that's the only activity that I want to do, I can do it as many times as I want and actually get rewards from it and put it on the other characters.
Yep.
And so
it's going to keep interest in your game.
Yeah.
But you do have to worry about those people who, you know, like that. I've met Grenadier Jake now twice. Super nice guy. Not complaining about him at all, but he chooses to do that whole let's see if I can get max light in 3 hours. And then he does it. And it's like, doesn't that take away from the game? But you know what? That's how he chose to play it. So you're going to have people who make 14, 15, 20 characters. And oh my god, as a Twitch streamer, I can hear it now. People coming in, how many characters you play? Oh, I have 3 on each platform just because that's enough for me. And then I have a 4th one on PC that I'm playing with my buddy Hoop on. And then they're like, oh, well, I play on PS4 and I have 19 characters. I'd be like, great, can you suck your own dick too? Like, I can already hear that kind of braggadocious attitude, but at the same time, that's just kind of the trend of the character of the game. I think people would enjoy having that freedom to make new characters. I mean, Skyrim style. Skyrim, you gotta go, I know it's the same game, but I want to do it again. So, like, I honest to God, right now, I would love to play through Destiny 1 from start to finish without moving anything over, doing the whole thing over again. I see that face!
I'm doing that right now on Xbox. It is, like, you open up and it's the astronaut scene. It's like, oh,
like I want to do it again.
Oh, it's so good.
But I can't bring myself to delete a character.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, each one of the characters, I could probably look up. There's someone has a database on the internet somewhere that tells me we all know that I don't like warlocks. We're not going to fight about it. But how many, I probably still have 150 hours on my warlock or something like that. Probably more, frankly. It's a level 400 warlock that I've raided with numerous times and everything. I would say it's probably somewhere between 150 and 300 hours. And it's just delete it because maybe I want to play through the game again. You know, like, that's so hard for me to do.
Like, time wasted on Destiny.
Wasted on Destiny. That only tracks in-game time. It does not track orbit. It will show you
deleted character time.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that would hurt if I deleted that warlock and it's set, because I already have like 100 hours deleted or something, and it's like, ugh.
So playing through Destiny from the beginning right now, because I got it on Xbox. It's like when you like your favorite movie series ever has the best movie ever coming out, and so you rewatch it from the beginning, and watch the entire series again. That's what it's like. It's been amazing. Like,
I bet.
If you have a character that you're not too fond of, I would suggest doing it. It is because this is the last time. This is it. We got a few more months of it.
But then in a few more months, I get to do it all again with Destiny 2. So
right, so experience it one last time. Experience the astronaut scene. Experience wearing the stupid gear that makes you look like a civilian. Like, experience struggling on the Cosmodrome. Like, it's nice.
I bet, but I'm looking forward to putting Destiny 1 down, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited for the new chapter. I'm kind of curious, Hoop. What do you think because I think you'll pick this game up. It would be my guess that you'll pick this game up.
We're gonna force him to.
I was gonna say, if he doesn't, we're gonna end up buying it for him.
I guess I'm not buying the game.
Shut up! You're buying the game,
Shut
and you know
up.
you are. What like because it's not like anything you've played before, and you know this. It's not. It's very different in many ways. How do you think this fits into your life?
It's a combination of games I've played before.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're totally right. But it's a shared world first-person RPG shooter. You know what I mean? Like it kind of has elements from like it's not an MMO, it's not a single-player campaign like Halo, it's not Skyrim or Fallout RPG, but it does have RPG elements, and it is multiplayer. It is shared world. Like it has a lot of elements from a bunch of different things, but it's all in one package. How do you see this like playing out for you? Like, what do you think you might get from the game? What was your impression from the reveal?
Honestly, I don't really know.
I'll have an opinion, Hope.
Well, no, like, it's honestly, I have to wait until I actually play it. You know, I can't really speculate on what it may be like because it may be completely different.
That's true. But I mean,
really
at the same time, when you look at any game that you've never seen before or only have limited knowledge of, and you go, that looks like something I'd be interested in. That doesn't look like something I'd be interested in at all. That has a place in my life because Destiny. Most people I know either played Destiny for a long time and then put it down, or still play Destiny. I don't know a lot of people that played it for a little while and stopped. In fact, I know 2 people that did that.
Actually, it's surprising how many people I run into that say, "Oh, I played that when it came out," and
oh,
I was actually shocked because like I know it was a big release, but the community is still quite large. But the community is quite large now because of new players, people that never played vanilla. We have so many, year 2, year 3 players, and a lot of those people that first bought it don't play anymore. Bless you.
But when you think about the people who say I played that in the beginning versus the people who either played for the 2 people I just discussed, are the people who played it a little bit in the beginning and then put it down. Now you work a little bit in the industry, so your answer might be different from mine. But oh, Steam, don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Getting a download.
I see you revving up, Steam. It did the yellow bar at the bottom of the, or the green bar at the bottom of the screen. It isn't doing anything yet, but I know it wants to. But
that
right? Yeah, stop it! To me, my 2 friends specifically, Smatla and the Green Ranger, who both played the game a lot and then stopped. No, they're just 2 closest friends.
I'm just making fun.
They don't. Well, the Green Ranger plays games more than almost anyone I know, but he plays things like RimWorld. He actually, I think he spends time lurking in your stream, Hoop, because I think he likes a lot of the games that you play. But he and I have different gaming tastes. But he played Destiny for a while and then stopped. And then Scott, he plays a lot of sports games, played for a while and then stopped. I feel like all the people I've talked to who played it and when it came out and then stopped are the Call of Duty players or the super casual gamers. The people who don't play games as a hobby, people who play games when they're bored or when they have a little free time, kind of like the people who play Call of Duty on Tuesday nights with their buddies and then Saturday mornings, not like us who are like, all right, I'm home from work, time to shove food down my throat and play games until I fall asleep. Like, so, yeah, I like ShadowCawn's like, I mean, yeah, that sounds about right.
I would never do that. I don't do that every day.
I feel like the people who played it a little bit in the beginning don't play games the way that the diehards do. Even the ones that aren't streamers. So, the people in chats that you see all over the place that are still playing Destiny and they got up at 6 o'clock this morning and it's almost midnight, those people that still exist, I don't think that they're casual gamers. So, I think it's the casual gamer that tried Destiny and got bored of it.
Now, as a devil's advocate, now, do you think that's possibly due to the way that vanilla Destiny was compared to where it's at now, as far as story development, what you could do? Because, I mean, a lot that you could and couldn't do in year 1 was very dependent on if you could play. Because, I mean, you had Nightfalls, you had Strikes, you had PvP, and you had the Raid for a little bit. And if you didn't have people to play with, there wasn't a whole lot of content that you could do. And so that could have pushed people off. And then when new content came out for it, I mean, why pick a game up if you weren't into it in the first place?
So I had two things to add to that. One is I do hear a lot of those people that were like, yeah, put it down. That it was because not just they couldn't find people, but they really hated just having 3 people in most of those fire teams. You know, raid wasn't really a thing year 1 until Vault, and then even then, like, not a lot of people did it. And most people that were gaming with their friends and had gaming communities were gaming with more than 2. So yes, there was people that couldn't find anyone, and then there was also a lot of people that were like, well, I'd have to exclude someone that I would normally play with because the fire teams were limited. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is, if the game captured them the way that it captured so many other people, like, generally you could feel what the game was like, and in a lot of games that you do buy, you get an itch for later, even if it wasn't like your favorite game ever. I feel like these people, it just didn't hit for them. The gameplay or the style or the story or whatever, it just didn't sync.
I can't blame anyone for not liking the story.
Sure. Well, you know, not just but so story outside of the lore. Story can also be told in the environments and the characters and the NPCs. You know, like not just lore, but also what you're experiencing. And for a lot of people, I think that even if they were to play now, it may not hit because it's not for them, and it's hard to like comprehend as Destiny fans. But I don't think it's a game for everyone.
No, I agree. It's definitely not, because it's very much so a hobby. You know, Destiny has become a hobby for a lot of people. And that's not a bad thing. I don't have an issue with that. But I do think that Destiny 2 has a chance to change a lot of that. Especially, you know, if it's got to get good day 1 reviews. Because I don't think day 1 sales are going to be as high as they want them to be. They're going to sell to the 400,000 people that log on every single day, and they're going to sell to the other
but maybe not, because going back to my theory of most gamers can only buy a set amount of games a year because of money. Some people that do play it now, they may not buy it for the first few months. Some people only buy pre-owned. You know, like, that's a thing.
It's also more along the lines of Destiny 1 was really hyped up until launch, and then its launch was poor.
Now, do you guys remember why the launch was poor? And the launch wasn't poor. The launch was the highest selling.
It was one of the
broke
highest
the servers.
It didn't break the servers. It was the highest day 1 sales Activision had ever seen. But do you guys know why that was? It was received poorly, but the sales were great. And it was received poorly because I didn't know this until recently, because when Destiny 1 came out, I was a very casual. I mean, I played games a lot, but I just sat down and played games, you know? I played Borderlands 2, and when somebody said, "Yeah, 1 life competition," my thought was, I'm going to win this. I didn't know what hardcore gaming was. And Destiny, when it launched, what I was unaware of is there was a complete review embargo until the game released. So when the game launched, it sold 6.3 million copies in the first month, and I think it sold something like 4 million of those on the first day or something like that. It was insane. And
it wasn't complete. Game Informer got 1 month in advance.
Game Informer got 1 month in advance, but everyone else didn't, and ended up getting between 4s and 7s across the board. It was supposed to be the game changer, and I remember them saying that there was going to be basically procedurally generated worlds that would have its own weather. I remember reading somewhere that there was supposed to be these like tsunamis that could hit and stuff. Like, these things clearly never happened, and so the game that we were promised didn't come out, and so everyone had an embargo, and everyone pre-ordered and bought a game that didn't actually release. So that's what happened with Destiny 1.
Do you feel that's a possibility or do you feel that because that happened with Destiny 1, that it may possibly happen with Destiny 2?
It may not happen with Destiny 2, but people are still going to be cautious when buying it.
Exactly. I don't think it will happen with Destiny 2, but people are going to be worrisome or concerned, because whether or not, like, regardless of how many people are aware of all that, is immaterial because Destiny 1 was received so poorly.
Who are you concerned? You're
of course, yeah. They shit on themselves in the first game. It'd be like the people who made No Man's Sky be like, all right, we're making a new game, we're doing it right this time. Like, nah, I'm not buying it till like a month after. Fuck yourself.
So and this is probably because I'm embedded, but I feel like we've seen such great changes from 1 to year 3, where they obviously listened to their fans and they made these changes, and the product as it is now is a fantastic, enormous immersive game. Would someone who's not into Destiny get the same impression that they learned?
It depends if they heard about the previous launch. It really depends on the person. I mean, if we're talking about a company making up for its errors and because it made it better, this one's going to be better. I mean, let's take Mass Effect, for example. Mass Effect was pretty good up until 3 launch, and then they shit on it. Just because the company did good previously doesn't mean they're going to continue to do good. So It doesn't mean that just because they fixed their issues, they're not going to have more issues.
And Andromeda is proof of that. But
again, Andromeda fixed itself. But if they put out another Mass Effect game,
everyone.
The people seem to be like, we're going to hold off.
Yeah,
it's a loss of trust. It'd be like if I took $10 out of your wallet and you wouldn't give me your wallet again.
So another flip side to this, though, is with the introduction of PC as a console, or as a
console, your
platform. Platform. There we go. I was like, I forgot the word. As a platform game, there's going to be a whole influx of variety streamers, PC gamers only, that are huge. I mean, the names that are announcing that they're going to be playing this game are ginormous. Huge streamers that are going to be in this directory. Now, of course, Twitch is only a microcosm of actual gamers in the world, so keeping that in mind. But I think that's a good picture of a percentage of people outside of Twitch that will also be adopting this game because of
you gotta remember, though, that Destiny 1, new IP and everything, guarantee they would have done the same thing. Those guys buy all the new titles and try them out, whether they like them or not, as immaterial. Because like I've recently become a fan of Co Carnage. God damn, is that guy likable? He is so fucking likable. And he was talking about someone brought up, I forget what it was today, but I just asked him about Borderlands, and he goes, I mean, I'm okay with the Borderlands series, but I liked 1, 2 was great, but the pre-sequel was just terrible, and it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm like sitting there going, man, this guy just like sharing his opinion, just like it's no big deal, and he tried it, and I'm the same way. I was like, pre-sequel, let's go. Came out, and like 7 minutes later, I was like, this isn't Borderlands. What did they do? And a lot of people will, Borderlands fans will fight in favor of the pre-sequel, but that's immaterial. I didn't care for it. A lot of people didn't care for it, and I just sort of think that everyone will try every game at that level just to see how it goes, like Dead by Daylight had a lot of issues, but it was fun, and now everyone is ready for the full release in the form of Friday the 13th, which comes out in a day and a half. So
I'm hearing these bigger Twitch streamers, though, not just say like, okay, I'm in Destiny when it comes out. Like, okay, I'm gonna go play whatever X game is coming out. They're saying like, I'm excited to.
She's talking about Lyric. In case you guys didn't know, she's talking about Lyric. Lyric has come out and specifically said, I'm looking for a game to sink my teeth into.
But other people have as well. Not just Lyric, there's a whole bunch of, but Lyric being the biggest, where they're saying, I'm excited to absorb myself in this directory. I like what you guys have done here. Your community building is amazing. And the theory of having, being a one game streamer is starting to come full circle again, where people are now saying it is good to have a home base, in variety streaming, where I think for a while Twitch variety streamers, they were like, let's play all the games, and I don't play one game, I play all the games. And I think it's coming back around to having that home base to build that community on, and then flirting around with other things, not as an over-encompassing rule by any means.
No, but I think that's a big long-winded conversation.
Every variety streamer has a game that they will go back to no matter
I feel like
on a dead day.
I feel like the emphasis of I only do variety really permeated the past, I'd say, quarter. Like, a lot of variety streamers who did start from a one-game stream. A lot of Borderlands guys, a lot of, oh my god, fill in the blank for all their home-based games. WoW, a lot of WoW streamers are like, I need to find a new WoW. I need to find that home base again and start building a different type of community.
My only caveat to that is, a lot of people are going to be expressing interest into like Destiny 2 because, like Blue brought up, it is a new game. People are going to branch into it simply for the fact that new games are exciting and people are going to be in. But then it only takes, especially on the Twitch side, and like we said, this isn't representative of everybody on the gaming, but it could take one, let's say for Lyric example, he hops in. He plays it a little bit, doesn't like it at all. All he has to do is say that he doesn't like it and stuff like that, and that could reflect negatively on all these new people that are coming into the directory, these PC gamers, that this person that I look at and I watch and I do all this, they don't like it whatsoever. So why would I grab that game and look into it when this person does it? And that can go for any big name that's coming into the directory. Whereas people who are already in the directory, for the most part, I'm going to say they're probably already going to play the game for a good little bit, simply for the nostalgia of it. They're going to like that it's Destiny 2. It's going to feel fairly similar, but if you weren't, like you were saying earlier, if you're not sold on it on the first game when you originally came into it and you did try it, and you're trying to come back into it with Destiny 2, that spark may not be there again, and then so you may have negative views on it, and all those people that were hoping to come into this and that may have interest in the game, they may have nothing to do with the game and not like it. So
I think that's true for a good part of Twitch viewers. I also think that a good part of Twitch viewers are more interested in a honest review tied in with, I'll make my own opinion. I think that's a sign of a generation. It's the generation that doesn't want to be sold to, where they find a streamer that they trust for the review. I have a streamer that I trust 100% of his reviews are honest, and what he likes to play, although I may not necessarily agree with that. So he may bash a game and I'll be like, those are some points. It doesn't necessarily this make me not want to play it, though. I want to prove it for myself. I think that mentality is also very strong, especially in a slightly younger generation of I get it, you don't like it, but I'm going to see if I like it. Which does exclude those gamers that can only purchase so many games a year because they have to choose. But I do think that those of us that do buy games frequently would say, okay, you don't like it. Maybe there's technical problems even with PC. I might pick it up on the PS4. I think that most people do want to form opinions, even when they trust the reviewers.
I lost my bottle opener.
See, I would agree with you to an extent. I feel like there's still a lot of, and this is solely, I'm just talking Twitch side and streaming side of it. I feel a lot of people watch streamers, not necessarily always the game that they play. Now, there is a side that, yes, they watch the game, they want to watch that, but I feel like a lot of people who tune into these big people that watch are there for the streamer and what they're doing and their thoughts, and not necessarily the game that they're playing.
They're there for the entertainment, not for necessarily their opinion, though. Yes, they'll trust that opinion, and some people will follow blindly that opinion just because sheep. But I do think that it's the entertainment of that streamer that they are watching purely.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing with it, but I do
don't
feel
argue.
that.
Yeah, Con. Don't argue with that.
Get right.
No, but then at this point, I'm splitting a percentage of gamers. So
yeah, well, and that's And like I said, a lot of this is focused mainly on the Twitch side of things, whereas the representative whole are going to go with like you were saying, they're going to play the game, whether they like it or not. That's their opinion, or they'll go to online reviews of game reviewers and say, okay, what was it about this game that you didn't like? Story side, gameplay, and all that stuff, and then they'll kind of go from there. So,
what I'm finding is most gamers that are limited to games that they can purchase a year, their main thing that they're looking for is, what are my friends playing? So it is going to be up to Destiny 2 to capture those of us that are into the IP to...
I need to offer, because you brought this up a couple times, these people who can't afford a lot of games thing, and I totally get it. But the people who are still playing Destiny in year 3 who can't afford a lot of games are planning for Destiny 2. They have to have.
No, absolutely. So those are the people...
And their friends are playing it. You know what I mean? So if you're still playing at this point, you're right.
The friends that they've met.
You're totally right. But I mean,
so those aren't the people that haven't bought Destiny and are not, those aren't the people that Destiny 2 is trying to sell to.
Oh, I guess you're right, but you originally brought it up when I said it's at least going to sell to the 400,000 people that log in every day, and that's when you first chimed in, and that's why I'm just bringing that up again.
But I do think that is going to... So you were talking about launch day. I think that launch day is tough for a lot of people. I think that a lot of people do wait for pre-owned. So I'm, 3 weeks from then, those 400,000 people are absolutely, and those 3 weeks were tough and they hated them, absolutely. But
I mean, Destiny 2 launch day sales are going to be in the millions. They gotta be. It's going to be I would argue that Destiny 2, with the exception of Zelda, might be the biggest launch of the year. I'm trying to think of another title that was bigger. The only thing that comes to mind might be Horizon Zero Dawn, but I don't think that the numbers were that high. It was a great game, but...
Is the new Mario coming out this year?
The new Mario is coming out this year, but if there's people out there like me, they're all looking at it like, what are they doing to Mario?
Potentially Shadows of War.
Nintendo title too.
I don't think Shadow of War is going to compete with Destiny. It's going to sell a lot. It's going to do well, but I don't think it's going to compete with Destiny. Not everyone's mind.
I mean, it was going to be Red Dead. It was going to be Red Dead.
Red Dead, Well, they pushed it to next year.
Well, not gone, but as far as 2017, it's not going to be considered.
And then in 2018, we already know who the winner is going to be if it comes out. Anyone know?
Oh, Left 4 Dead. Not Left 4 Dead.
Close.
Last of Us.
Last of Us 2 is going to fucking blow everyone.
Absolutely.
Legitimately, I you know what? This is way in advance. I would love to do something where we all got together and played Last of Us 2 together. It sounds goofy, but I would love to get just 8 of my friends in a room and just play the game, fuck streaming, or stream it and just be like, sorry chat, you can watch us cuddle and play this really heartbreaking game for the next 3 days. But can you imagine, though? That would be so great. Just everyone just goes to, a really sad part of the country. Just everyone goes to Nebraska and gets, a crappy hotel and just plays The Last of Us 2. Sorry, everyone that lives in Nebraska. I love you. But tying all of this Twitch talk into Destiny 2... There is a major component of Destiny 2, because we actually haven't talked about Destiny 2 all that much.
The game itself.
There's a major component.
Sorry, this is freeform.
I know, this is how it always goes. And by the way, ShadowCawn, we say 10, and sometimes it goes till 11. If you're, see, I've played enough games with you to know that you're not going to bed anyway, but if you do have to go at any point, you just let us know. However, there is one thing from everything they announced that I think directly affects Twitch. And I know that Rams is going to have a different, or not opinion, but maybe a thought on this than I do. But I'm kind of curious to know, good or bad, how the guided, I don't remember what it's called, the guided...
Guided games.
Is it just guided games? It sounded too simple in my head to be the thing. If guided games is going to help or hurt Sherpas. I initially think that it's going to be a lateral move because people are still going to want to play with streamers, but how many growing streamers are going to get hurt by this because people don't want to wait, if if a raid takes 3 hours to beat, how many people are going to rather just go on and try to find somebody looking for someone to help than wait in a streamer's, for their raffle and hope they win. So that's the only thing that I think might directly affect Twitch, because that guided games thing is awesome, if we have, you know, at any given time 10,000 people watching Destiny, well, I mean, when Destiny 2 launches, it'll probably be 100,000 for a while, but if we have 100,000 people watching Destiny 2 on Twitch, there's still gonna be 4 million people playing this game. So there's definitely, guided games is awesome for the people outside of the, you know, Twitch community. But what does it do to Twitch? I'm gonna open the floor to Rams because I know she's probably heard mouthfuls about this.
Con has something.
Oh, really?
I have more thoughts on the system itself than it affecting streamers, because y'all are the streamers. So
I honestly don't think it'll affect them too badly, because you can opt in to doing the guided game. And so the quote-unquote clan leader, so for the people that are known for being the big raid Sherpas and stuff like that, they can always, like, on their off time, like some of them do, say, hey, you know what, I just feel like helping out some people with the raid. They can always turn that on. Whereas when they're on stream and they've got people in there, they can always just not have their clan solicited to raid help at that time, and they don't have to accept people in that. I hear
what you're saying. We're on two different. We're talking about two different things. I'm talking about how does it affect the number of.
Oh, you're saying it'll damage those people.
I think it might hurt. My hypothesis, though it's not. It's weird. It's a hypothesis, but I don't know if it's necessarily what I agree with. My hypothesis is that it'll actually hurt, not the big guys. Everyone's gonna want to play with James Work. Everyone's gonna want to play with Lono. Everyone's gonna want to, like, those people who do raid carries are still, you know, Jay Sniperton, Syntax 7. Those guys are still gonna have people that show up that want to play raids with them because they're streamers. But for people like, I'm not trying to throw people under the bus. They're not doing a bad job. It just, I'm afraid of what it'll do for people like Spartan Sani, you know, or Anton Cabbage, who does trials carries. For people like that, now instead of waiting in this small, because it's really tough. The problem
building
is
the currency, spending that currency on tickets.
Building the community around helping people is tough, because the second you're not helping people, they don't care anymore. And it's rough. It's really rough. And so what if you take all these people who don't want to sit in Fort, because you know that they do this. They open up 16 windows for all the raid Sherpas and they click through them waiting for somebody to finish a raid and then enter their raffles. You know what I mean? And I wonder if instead of doing that, they just go into guided games and find a team that's looking for someone.
I feel like to a certain extent, though, they're kind of already doing that, though. If they've got that many tabs, if they're poking around just looking for a raid in general, they're not really there for the longevity of it, so they're not really contributing to the streamer side of it.
Well, I mean, I've been watching, you know, this is not in any way a slight, but I've been watching Lono now for a year and a half, and I was a regular in his channel when he had between 40 and 70 viewers, and I watched him grow, and a major part of it was how he managed his raid raffles. The way that he managed those raffles is how he grew, and over time, more and more people showed up, the same way Jay Sniperton did it and everything. And there is a way to build a community doing that. Silent Protagonist did that, and then once, you know, he obviously moved away from Destiny, but a lot of people are still trying to make that work, and I kind of wonder, is that going to be a thing of the past?
Honestly, So I think the guys that have made success from that, they're safe because they built community.
Yep.
Even like Cabbage, I mean, his community is great, and they're going to stay with him, and it's going to continue to grow. But yeah, the people that are those people a year ago, you know, right now, the people that are that size or smaller, trends die. And yes, I think maybe that Sherpa stream model may die, but there's other models out there, and if you have to adapt. And I think all streamers have to adapt no matter what. So those people that are now successful, as far as they were Sherpas, and maybe they still raid and they still do the Sherpa thing, they do it in a totally different way than they used to, where it's not focused so much on, okay, do you have your currency? Okay, you're gonna, you know, I don't know. It's not so much focused on retaining that viewership. It's more as, okay, you're a part of this community, and this is what we do together, and we enjoy watching the raid together. So I think that boat may be sailing, And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is going to be up to the smaller streamers to learn how to adapt to that and find their niche. If Sherping it was only your only thing, maybe you look into creating the best clan. You know, that's your focus now. Is
I was immediately gonna drop my clan, and while I was at the event, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'd talk to the Destiny Reset guys and merge what I'm doing with what they're doing, so that there's more people to play with and all this stuff. And before I even left the event, I had tweets going, "Blues Crew going all the way in 2018." I was like, oh shit! All right, I guess that's not happening. So.
Maybe that's what you see right now. You're not 1,000% focused on the clans, and most people are not focused on their clans. It's just it's like a option. Yeah, you know, as far as
it's literally a name on your emblem at this point, in my opinion.
Right.
There's some people who take it seriously, and those people actually make websites. Instead of using Bungie.net, they use like different websites in order to manage that.
That structure is going to be more successful, and I think that if someone is purely Sherpa and they have nothing else going for their style of stream, they're going to have to adapt to that. And if they don't, they're going to fail. And you know what? People fail on Twitch every day.
Oh yeah. Oh, everyone on this screen that streams, no matter how big or small or whatever we think we are lucky as shit, because there are people that I've run into recently. I've found people that are like, yeah, I'm celebrating 3 years on Twitch. And I'm like, oh my God, you have like 200 followers. Like 3 years, like shit. And then I go to their channel and they have 1 viewer. And I'm like, my God, I am proud of you. Like, and so the fact that we can get together and we've built communities, and no matter how big or small it is, like, look where we are. We found friends and we're talking about it. Success is what you want it to be, and to me, this is success. I found 3 other people that I can talk about a game with every, you know, well, if I wanted ShadowCawn here every Wednesday, he would be here, I'm sure. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is success to me, and there's people out there who are still trying to do this after years and are not finding success. So you're right, people fail on Twitch every single day.
And so backtracking just a little bit, I do agree with you that the way that the guide to games is set up, it may punish some of those people who are solely Sherpas. The other side of it, though, I feel, is the people who are solely going into it, like into streams, going to, a lot of them, I feel, and this is just my perspective, they're not really devoted necessarily to the community side of it. They're solely there, I want to get this raid done, I'm going to go into as many channels as I can get into, do it, and be done. And so the guide to games, I feel it may pull those people away. So those people who are normal Twitch viewers, because if you're an avid Twitch viewer or a streamer, you typically stay within the Twitch community. And so I feel like those people who just go into streams to get into raids aren't necessarily those who are going to stick around and actually want to be a part of the community. They just want to get it right in, get it done, and they're out of there. So I feel like that might be a way to, I guess, kind of thin the herd in a way, is that it helps.
But you need the herd. Here's the thing is right now, I don't know how else to put this.
Those people aren't hurting anybody.
Yeah, they're not hurting anything.
They're only
actually
helping.
Yeah, they're giving you numbers and stuff. And it's been a successful model for a bunch of people. I still watch some people do, like, there's a couple streamers that I'm not, at this point I'm not going to name any names, but there's a couple streamers that I watch who on a weekly basis do community oriented things that aren't what they're known for, and their numbers are always lower. Always lower. And that's entirely due to the fact that people just want their help. So that's rough.
And I'm not arguing that it will hurt people and that they're going to have to change the model. I was just saying that I think as far as the community side of it, it'll help strengthen the quality of it will go up for those who are actually wanting to be there for the streamer versus just solely having something open for a number. Or contributing just so that it's a number side of it. They're going to be kind of pushed out of the way for those people. And I guess the other side of it too, and I know we're talking solely streaming side for the guide to games, but for those people who aren't Twitch viewers, I think this will be a great way, because like I've got friends who aren't Twitch people. They don't do Twitch and stuff like that. And so they have a hard time, unless we set it up as friends, they have a hard time getting a raid done Whereas now they have an opportunity to, you know what, I want to do a raid tonight, and I know about these people in these major clans. I can go in and see if I can get somebody who can actually help me do this. And so
there's the crossover too. So with Destiny 2, we have the opportunity as streamers. I'm not a streamer, but y'all have the opportunity to change the way that we interact with our clans and interact with non-Twitch viewers. Now you can interact with non-Twitch viewers who need that help. So you'd be able to reach out to them and promote yourself by being a positive and good raider, or a positive and good nightfaller, or whatever it is that you're doing. So it is going to go both ways, where now our influence as Twitch viewers is going to spread and bring even more people into Twitch that are focused on community and that are, and it is, so yes, a lot of people go in to try to get help from the streamers, but they also try to get help from the viewers as well. And I think that we're going to start finding more and more people to absorb into the Twitch communities, and we will lose those people that are only solely there to raid with a streamer, which is fine. I think it may balance out a little bit.
And I would argue though that because they're clans, they're going to have a structure. I mean, if they're a successful clan and people know to go to these people for things, they're going to have a structure set up to where they can pull people in. Like Blue was saying, they may have a website, they may have a forum or a Discord server where they can go in and talk. But they may not be a part of Twitch whatsoever. And so, yes, I do see that it has the possibility, but it could also work the other way, is these people that were coming in to Twitch to try and get raid ups, because that's the only form that they know. Now there's a way where they don't have to do Twitch. They can just go to these clans and these forums that people do and just be a part of it on that side.
Right, but when you have that experience with someone, how many raids have you been in when before you did Twitch, viewer raids, where you friended people that you found on LFG? I met some of my best friends on LFG.
I just met one after 3 years.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying is that.
So I think the same thing is going to happen where you become friends, internet friends with people that you pull in for guided games, and it's just going to happen. I do the Twitch thing. Have you not heard of this? Come hang out in the stream. Be a part of the community. We're going to get that cross-pollination.
Yeah, and it'll go both ways. So I feel like it'll just balance it out. I don't think it'll be a huge benefit because like I said, I feel like it can go the other way too, where they don't have to go that way. And that's all.
And with that influx, there's going to be the people that tend to gravitate towards smaller streams versus larger streams. And those are different types of people. Some people only watch smaller streams, some people only watch larger streams, and a lot of people are mixed. But yep. I think we may see a little bit more love in Twitch than we're expecting to lose.
Only time will tell. But back to Destiny.
Well, the thing about guided games that I'm really disappointed in is that they're keeping the current clans. I get it. That way you don't have to start from scratch, and that they can say, look at our
keeping current amazing clans? I didn't catch that.
One of the later interviews, one of the main guys talked about they are going to be limited in size, or similar to the size that they are now is what it was said, and they're going to move the current clans over. It's actually extremely disappointing to me as someone who is currently setting up a clan structure to adopt in 2 for D2, mirrored after a Discord structure that we have. And I was hoping to start from scratch. The quality will be better because clan people that don't play.
You heard it first, guys. Blues Crew all the way, 2018. We got spots on both consoles still.
Because clans haven't been a main focus for streamers as a community tool, it's just been a way that, like, okay, join the clan, you may find some people, and most people don't even use them for like LFG purposes, or even community building purposes. It hasn't been a focus for a lot of streamers.
I legitimately have a couple people in the Blues Crew clan that I'm super glad are there, but I cannot believe picked my clan over all the people that they watch on Twitch to make their and I'm just like, I think they just don't care. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm super glad that you guys are all there. It makes me so excited when we play Destiny and almost the entire fire team, looking at you, Thomas, what the hell, is Blues Crew, calling you out.
I'm not either.
No problem. And you know, I know because you guys have your special clans, but to everybody that is in there, it's super cool. But every now and then, someone joins in from like we invite people in, and I'm just like, oh shit, you're in the but you spend like 9 hours a day in that other person's stream. You know what? Cool, whatever. Like it just that's how little it means. Is that I play Destiny at this point 3 times a month, probably. You know, little stints. And I have people that still come to the clan, and I just don't think they care.
So because of that, if you're looking to be a top clan, if you're looking to, you know, provide a service and to build something out of these clans, you're going to have to do a lot of weeding out, which is uncomfortable for everybody. I wish they would have just wiped it and let us build from the ground up.
I mean... For someone who deals with a large community, I understand that, but I do not. Do not deal with a small community or a large community. I deal with a very small community. And that's one thing. Clans are a very interesting thing in general because I know a lot of people start clans. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, ShadowCawn, but maybe you want to talk about it a little bit. But maybe clans aren't the best choice for every streamer.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I mean, to me, like, clans are a good idea. So, from my perspective, since I don't have a huge clan side of it, I feel they're very good for people who are outside of Twitch, who they have a focal point where they can come to. But I don't have a huge community because a lot of them, and like you were saying, are branched out into different streamers, different things. And so they may want to support the person who's in this clan, or they've already got a bunch of people who are already in this clan. And so I feel like they're a good tool, but it may not always be the go-to for a streamer until maybe you hit a certain point and you feel, yeah, I could actually, or if you really push for it. For me, yeah, I have one, but I don't really push it because I already have people that I go to and I do stuff with normally outside of the clan. I don't necessarily have to have a clan because I know if I really needed to, I could get people who would want to play, who I would consider clanmates, but they're not in a particular clan, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. It makes sense. All right.
I mean, I personally
wait. Who the hell is that?
Just because I fucking feel like it. So someone who just makes clans in games, like I have clans in just about any game that allows clans, and I have people in my stream that join them, and we just do it because it's fun, and we can yell random clan-related bullshit. Like I have a clan in MechWarrior that's literally labeled Gork, which is an orc god from 40k, and when you randomly spew out random stuff, just I don't know. I don't really care about the whole clan or working with people side of Destiny or really many games. So I would just use it, and I'm sure a lot of other people would just use it as just a way to get people in and have them be part of some kind of community and have fun with it.
Well, now that it's integrated into the game, it's going to be much more usable in that way. The problem with Destiny 1 is that it wasn't integrated in the game at all. It literally, they just changed it with, what was it, Rise of Iron?
I think it was Rise of Iron, where you're talking about your clan.
Yeah,
list.
all of a sudden your clan was in your menu listed, and that's it. It's literally a secondary friends list. It's like, and a lot of the people in my clan aren't on my friends list. Because as a streamer,
so we're saying it works a lot like Warframe.
Yes.
The clans in Warframe is just like another whole nother friends list.
Yeah, basically that's how it is right now, and it's it's like I said, it's like a tag on, you know, in I'm gonna use a game reference that no one's gonna get. Well, you guys have all played it, but Battleborn, you got like little sayings you could put on your emblem. That's kind of what the raid names have turned into. So and Blue's Crew is a tough one because if you don't read it right, it's just Blue Screw. So it's kind of bizarre, but it's I don't know. Right now it's not a very fleshed out tool, but I think Destiny 2 has a really good plan for it. I trusted in what they were saying, and the woman that they had talking about it clearly had a lot of faith in the community, and I was excited. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm a little bit nervous about trolling. So, you know, people looking for games, and you're just gonna troll. Your clan's a troll, and that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna shit on this person, like leave them hanging. I do consider, but the way that she presented it, it seemed that they were very well aware that this is a possibility, and there's potential that they've created safeguards for these things. And I'm curious on what that looks like. I have no idea. There's
got to be some sort of quote unquote rating system to kind of help.
Exactly, kind of like Uber.
Is that you'd go in, you do an activity with a clan, and then, hey, did you actually enjoy doing this with this clan? Did you have a good time? Did you get the objective done? I feel like just having it implemented in there where, hey, here's a huge list of clans, and you can join any one of them. I feel like that is very likely you'll join a clan where it's, hey, we're a bunch of trolls, and we're going to teach this person the wrong thing, we're never going to get it done. But I feel like the way that they presented it is it's very much going to be, here are some promoted clans that have spent time on working and refining their system to help people, and those are going to be the ones that you go, and when you go in, you're going to see them first. And then, yeah, anytime like you go into any sort of listing when it's a bunch of people, the further down you go, the more spotty it gets. Yeah, you might get a clan who's not really focused on helping out people, and they're just gonna kind of goof around. And then there's the opposite side of that, where there's the clans who need one person, and they're gonna put it out there, and they're a very devoted group who really wants to help people get through the thing. And there's going to be that one guy who just wants to go in there and dork around and be the troll, and it's not going to really help him out. And then he could possibly give them a bad review saying, "Oh, they didn't get me through the raid. They weren't helping out at all." So I feel like there's got to be some sort of way where they can do a checks and balances for the thing, not only from the solo queue person who wants to go into a clan, but from the clan side saying, yeah, we pulled in this guy, and he wanted nothing to do with the raid. He was just there to kind of BS and troll us. So I feel like there's got to be some sort of system where they can evaluate the clan and the way that guided games are going.
I mean, usually I think that's called tech support.
Well,
it's
do you want to trust tech support, though?
But do they have the resources for that? Like, really? They're going to have people, like... They don't even look at when you report.
Any game that has multiplayer generally has it. Yeah.
So right now you can report cheating, report. It's right now you can report.
That's what it's going to fall under most likely.
But they don't have the. I know they don't have the manpower to. They have the money, but they don't spend it on the manpower to actually follow through with 99% of that.
That's unfortunate.
I feel like
maybe they're investing in it for D2 though.
I mean, it's fairly automated though. There may not be. Yes, they're, like you were saying, the simplistic side of, like right now where we have our reporting system. If you get a guy who's continually getting, hey, bad connection, laggy, stuff like that, they can look at that and be like, oh, hey, this guy's getting it, do a quick check, okay, boom, out. And then I feel like it has to be a simplistic check, and there can't be a whole lot. Whereas if you're getting a big clan that's getting 500 plus good reviews, and they may get like 10 that are bad, I feel like that should push them a little bit further up versus somebody who's getting the opposite, 500 bad reviews and 10 good reviews. I feel like it could be fairly automated without a whole lot of intervention from tech side.
So basically, they could just do what, let's say, Bethesda does with mods, is just a ranking system.
Yeah,
you know, like, this dude has 5 stars. This dude has 2 stars. And just look at that.
Well, that's what I was saying. And I feel like that they'd have to have some sort of way to gauge players so that they could look in and go, yeah, this looks like a decent thing I would want to grab. Or, wow, I'm not going to worry about that because every person's saying that that's a bad thing.
I feel like that's a pretty basic part of any game. And if they don't have it, they're kind of stupid. But most multiplayer, I'm talking as someone who's like, most multiplayer games I have that system. It's like, yeah, thumbs up, that was a great group, or thumbs down, that was an awful group, and that affects the group's rating.
I do think though that Destiny has a particular, we have very extremes in our community of, yes, we are a positive community. We're positive. Like, it's like a huge thing, right? But then because of that, our trolls are particularly nasty. You know, following through with threats and creating communities on their own that are anti-particular streamers, that are anti-particular, you know, Destiny. I think that our trolls are, they balance that extreme positivity that Destiny tries to promote with an unreal amount of negativity. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. I don't think I see that in other games, like where that, you know, a huge community, like there's a community that's anti-Destiny, an actual community.
I don't.
That's anti-Destiny.
I don't see as many. I don't know how else to put this. Reddit or 4chan raids in the Destiny community as I do other places, though. I think there's people who want to hate Destiny because Destiny is fun to hate and it's the cool thing to hate. But I think that other games that are as successful as Destiny on Twitch see
as successful. I think the more successful draw those bigger amounts of trolls, like League and such, Dota and such, because of the size, the pure scope of that community. You're gonna have more trolls.
Well, I think that's with any. I mean, because you look at it,
how it is.
You pull more people in, the chances that you're gonna get trolls.
I would argue that for Destiny's size on Twitch, our trolls are at a higher percentage than other games.
Well, the other thing is, too,
I'm saying this as a mod for 17 channels, most of them Destiny. Like,
but that's you're biased in that.
Not all Destiny.
Not all Destiny, but
how many of them are League streamers?
How many go solely?
0.
Yeah, so I'm not to like put aside your opinion, but you are viewing this from a very Destiny-sided view. You don't mod for people who play other games, like large Overwatch streamers or large League streamers.
I brought up today maybe getting into
Overwatch streamer.
I did talk about playing, doing some RP in GTA 5 earlier, and your response was?
I said that game is evil, but not just because of the community. Honestly, I didn't have a chance to respond to dinner, but that's because of work-related things that I hate that game.
I feel like, though, too, like in the Destiny community, it's been very much pushed that we're embracing people, whereas in other directories, like from what I can tell, most Destiny streams don't do subscriber only mode, or very rarely do follower only mode and stuff like that. They're very open, and so you do find more of those immediate trolls who just want to get in a quick word, whereas and other things where they're really big, they've already had to go through the part where Destiny kind of stays at. Because I'll say the larger streams typically average, what, 4,000? And then, so you jump into other directories where they're averaging 10,000 plus. You're going to get people that are, I mean, yes, Destiny probably has a lot, but if you double those numbers, that's just as many trolls in there. And so they take it and they go, I don't even want to deal with that. And so
I'm kind of shocked, guys. Do you not remember when Destiny, the directory, and all the streamers were being constantly viewbotted and constantly chatbotted, and it wasn't happening everywhere else on Twitch, and that's why we couldn't get it done? It was an attack on the directory.
I was there. Yeah, I mean, I know of that thing, but then has that happened within the last thing? And Twitch went ahead and took care of that. I feel like that may have been a select few who just had the opportunity and go for it.
Some of these chatbots suggested you check out some Twitters, and these Twitters are pure anti-Destiny with hundreds.
Yeah, but every community has bots and trolls just like that. It's nothing new.
I'm not saying it's new. I'm just saying that I think the percent of hate and anti-Destiny people on Twitch specifically, not gaming in general, is at a higher percentage than other games of this size. That's all I'm arguing. I think other games of this size don't experience this. Games at a larger size, I think, do, absolutely. And games of different natures that are larger especially. But games of this size, I don't see this.
So wait, you mean to tell me that I'm going to ignore Injustice 2. I'm literally going to look at it right now from what's on there, because I don't think this is a bad sample size if you take Injustice 2 out of there. You don't think that Rainbow Six Siege, King of the Kill, Heroes of the Storm, and the IRL department? Hello.
Department.
Hello.
Bruh.
Thank you.
Bruh.
Thank you for coming to the IRL
the Department of Real Life. Let me help you get your life situated.
So, you don't think that those 4 games... I mean, come on. King of the Kill is toxic as fuck. Heroes of the Storm is a Blizzard game. And IRL is getting shit on by major streamers right now.
H1Z1, I think, is toxic in a PvP way, where it's just toxic. It's not hate against the directory and against specific streamers. I think the hate of the Destiny trolls are, I fucking hate that guy.
But isn't that just semantics?
And no, it's not though. It's not. I think that the trolls that are trolling in H1Z1 are trolling because people run, and they're also trolling in other directories. I feel like Destiny has grown a specific type of troll that is purely going to troll Destiny streamers. Purely. That don't pop around. And because of the positivity and the community focus that the directories had, and the other directories don't have as much. There's some
like still
streamers have it specifically.
Damn it,
Directories
Steve.
don't have it.
Damn it, Steve, I told you no.
But also, you did name most of the larger ones. The King of the Kill being slightly smaller right at this moment.
At this moment, yeah.
Underneath that, as far as in the same size, Gwent, War Thunder.
I wouldn't count War Thunder. That's got to be a single stream. Yeah, there's a streamer with 5,000 followed by someone with 66.
Yeah.
But what
War Thunder is a pretty dead
StarCraft
game.
2.
I would say though,
Blizzard
how
game, there's
often
trolls.
are we? I'll just say it
trolls
from my
everywhere.
side. Is how often do you branch off into numerous streams in other directories? That's the other side of it too. Is are you going through each of these directories and sampling different streamers and are engaged in their Twitter spheres and stuff like that? I feel like because we're really focused within the Destiny community, we're gonna see the people who hate Destiny streamers. I feel like if you quickly take a glance into a thing, yeah, you may see 1 or 2, but you're gonna have a harder time seeing the sphere itself because you're not actively within that for a long period of time. I mean, hell, we've been.
I'm in Overwatch stream for a long period of time because I do mod for a streamer. They don't. Their trolls are run bys. If I were to pop into another Overwatch stream, I probably wouldn't run into the same. In the Destiny directory, I run into the same trolls and I ban them from all the channels. Like, you know, like, oh, you're here again, and you're saying something very specific to the streamer because you watch them. Like, that's the weird thing too, is these trolls watch these streamers. I don't know. I'm completely off base because of my perspective. Absolutely agree with that. But it does seem that there is a amount of, you know, what we've created with the community focus and with the positivity, you know, underbelly of it. There's an exact opposite of that, of people that hate that specifically, that want to attack that community. Whereas I feel like trolls and other directories aren't trying to attack that community. They're going to attack that streamer or just be a general troll.
Well, I mean, we'll see when Destiny 2 comes out.
So, yeah, I mean, that all came from the Guided Game.
Yeah.
I suspect that they do have a system in place to control that, and it probably is very effective because Blizzard's involved in all of this, and it's great. But I'm curious on what that.
Yep. So, Destiny 2.
Destiny 2 is a cool game. Take it from someone who has played it.
One thing I do want to talk about Destiny 2 is one thing I'm happy to see is different fucking weapons.
You mentioned that, and I'd like you to expand on that. You mentioned that last night in my stream. I'd like you to expand on that because I feel like there's a lot of. I know. I feel like there's a lot of guns already, but I'm excited. I want to hear what you have to say.
But it's more of the category of weaponry. They did nothing special in terms of categories of weapons. When I look at Destiny, I see, okay, there's an assault rifle, there's a scout rifle, the shotgun sniper. It just felt really bland as a category. And
so
I'm happy to see
new
them delve into
types of weapons, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, see, that's different. That's totally different, because I thought you meant like like how Borderlands, everyone still goes after Lyudas and everything. I thought you meant like, okay.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, the weapon systems themselves, you know, not like, oh, there's a million assault rifles out there. Cool, yeah, that's great. There's a shit ton of guns.
What they added, to my knowledge, are the SMGs and the grenade launchers. There is
whatever the fuck that minigun thing was.
That is an auto rifle. That is an exotic auto rifle.
There's
it
variations.
Sucks in PvP.
Who gives a fuck?
I think the one thing that does look cool is it looks like they're adding swords as more of a regular occurrence kind of thing, because it looks like there's various types of swords now too. There's and we'll see. It could still be the standard kind of swords that we have now, where it's just this. But from what I've seen and what people have talked about, there's little short, almost dai katana kind of things. There's huge broadswords, and it could just be simple cosmetics. But I would really love to see a variation of swordplay where you may get a little bit of a shorter sword, but damn, does that thing swing fast as hell, or you get a really big sword that kind of swings down, does a ton of damage, but it's going to take you a second to bring around another thing. And so
Destiny Souls 2.
Destiny Souls 2.
So another thing that actually makes me a little sad on the opposite end of the unique weaponry, the more exotic weapons, is the less interesting looking abilities. I don't know. You can play as Captain America.
Captain America looks cool as hell. As a Destiny fan, that's the one that stuck out to me.
Yeah, and the Hunter's a fucking Warframe.
Well, that class that class already exists, unfortunately. So
it already exists too.
This is the rough part. I will say, as far as the new supers go, I do have strong opinions as having played them. The Titan Captain America is the only new subclass. Bear with me before anyone jumps on me. The Hunter looks like an improved Blade Dancer.
Yep.
And the Warlock looks like a slowed down, weaker Sunbreaker. Now, and when I say weaker, what I mean is it's clearly made as an aerial gameplay, which is interesting because verticality has always been very important to Destiny, whether you've realized it or not. Most games, like if you play Call of Duty, go play Call of Duty for like 6 hours.
4 different types of jumps.
Yeah, right? Like, you're always, like, Call of Duty, if there's multiple levels, there is a second level, and you run up ramps to get on top of the second level and snipe, and that's it. There's never these multiple tiered areas that you can fall off maps in all different areas and stuff. Like, verticality is important to Destiny, and so they made this really floaty. Warlocks are floatier than they used to be. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to be a dick. I'm saying that as experience. They are floaty as hell in the current build, and this super is built to float through the air and throw them down. And I look at it immediately and go, nobody does that in PvP to begin with because you're such a huge target at that point. And knowing that not the power weapons, the energy weapons, it doesn't matter what type of energy weapon you're using, they're stronger against supers. You're just gonna get melted.
I thought that they said that the matching element will do more damage.
Nope.
So
I also heard that things are spec'd differently in PvP, including abilities. People have been taking the numbers and running them.
I'm literally going by what I played. That's the difference. Is I'm going by what I played. Is I played the Warlock and I jumped in the air and was like, time to throw swords, super. And as I'm going through the air throwing these things, I'm getting shot to hell. And I'm just like,
so the stat changes doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're up in the air as an open target with no cover.
Exactly.
That's a no-no in any game. Like,
nobody uses those perks on either the Warlock or where's the Imperium Bellicose as a Titan. I'm going to use what Hoop's saying and turn it into Destiny terms.
No, like, I'm gonna realize, like, as someone who, like, as mech warrior, we have jump jets. We could literally, our light mechs can fly. No one uses them for that aspect because you're going to get blown out of the fucking sky. And
I get that.
In Destiny, with someone like a sniper rifle, you're just gonna get shot in the face.
But
to be honest,
if they are, and it seems like they are, changing your base specs, your armor, your defense, and your damage, for PvP versus PvE, the same thing in a different zone. If you get more armor when you're in that super, maybe that balances it for PvP. it's very exciting to think that they are going to use the same abilities with different stats for a different gameplay.
Now, there was one thing that I saw with the supers that they actually confirmed, and I'm curious as to what your guys' thoughts are. The branches that you go into with these supers now, you're locked into that branch. Whereas now you can, if you wanted this particular grenade with this particular perk and this particular perk, you could do that. Whereas now, when you go up into this branch, that you have those 4 things, and that's it. You can't get down into the other branch and get those perks. You have to stay within that branch that they have. So I feel, and this could be changed. But from what I've heard, once you go into a particular branch, you're stuck with those perks, and you can't change. Oh, like for instance, I'm just thinking of the Warlock. There's the one where you hover in the air more. I may not want to be hovering in the air, but I want those other 3 perks. But because it's locked within that branch, I have to have that perk now. Versus like now with the supers, I can use this particular perk and this particular perk, but I'm not locked into, like, I don't have to go across a straight line. There's more variation to the supers. And I think it was confirmed by Noseworthy and Smith in one of their interviews.
That's really disappointing, but it also maybe means that Blue's theory of multiple characters may be more relevant.
So the other thing is, it does stop people from just kind of just using the best skills all the time. It does force you to have that potentially that one ability. Like, it's not that great, but
that's why I like having him around. I never even thought of that. He's got a good point.
Yeah, I agree that I'd like the fact that it helps refine the balance of the system. Like you're saying, you're not always like, for instance, I play a lot of Warlock, so when I go into a class, yeah, there's all this variation, but because I know that there's particular ones that are better off, like Nova Bomb. I've never, in the entire probably history of Destiny, used Angry Magic where the super tracks people in the air. It's just never really been something that I've ever felt it was necessary or it did. But if I had to go into a branch and I was stuck with that perk, I'd have to conform my playstyle and have to accept the fact that that's a perk that I'm just going to have versus being able to go, I don't like that perk, I'm never going to use it.
I'm honestly going to use MechWarrior as another example because MechWarrior is going to update with skill trees. We just got skill trees in MechWarrior. Previously, all the special perks were either built into the mech, or you could buy a module, which was stupid price, no one liked it. But there were things like Hill Climb, which let you go up hills at a steadier pace. Was literally never used, because why would you buy that over your gun to shoot more powerful? But now, there's things that you have to have. Like, if you want to go down the survivability tree, it gives you armor for your mech. You have to take Hill Climb. You cannot avoid it. You have to go through it, and just to get to what you actually want. Now, it's not bad. Hill Climb's not a bad thing. It's just a lesser bonus than maybe
do you adapt your gameplay around it? So now that you have this, you adapt your gameplay to
you adapt to it.
I mean, think about the people who, before it became like ultra meta, were, and I'm kind of talking about myself a little bit, ran like the No Land Beyond and shit, and like played their style to playing these weird builds that nobody else did.
ARs through shotgun meta, yeah.
You know, like there was these weird builds that people would run just for funsies, and like during the most recent Iron Banner, I playing Sunbreaker, I threw on thermite grenades and spec'd into Sunbreaker so that I could throw a grenade every second. I could throw a grenade. I filled rooms. I just called the floors lava. These rooms were just filled with fire, and people would run in and die. It was awesome, but no one ever, like, I heard it on Crucible Radio. Hey, you should throw on thermite grenades. They're like, oh, that's funny. I was like, no, you should. And so I did it. It was awesome. Seriously, next time Mayhem comes back, throw on thermite grenades, spec into, I forget what it is. It's the last tree all the way to the right. I think it's the top node. It gives you a grenade every second. Just throw grenades. It's hysterical watching people not know what to do because no one's ever seen a thermite grenade in PvP before. So...
So does this introduce more variety into our gameplay then, or does this limit it to people waiting to get that perfect build, and then they're going to?
It's going to force people to use abilities that they wouldn't normally use. I mean, not only that, but they may be new things already because it's Destiny 2. They may not be the same shit that it was in Destiny 1.
Hopefully not.
So, A, it's going to make them use new stuff. B, they can't change away from it, so you're going to see repeat uses of the same stuff. Just because you can't change from it now. But, you know, it's good and bad both ways.
But I think the reason I think that we may see more variety is because you can't change. Someone's going to spec a certain way because they like it, or because someone told them to. But other people are going to spec differently. And instead of like, okay, the new meta is thermite grenades, everyone specs in a thermite grenade suddenly. Instead of that sort of, you know, ebb and flow, it's you got what you got. Whatever you chose, that's what you're going to run with. So as far as individual variety, but I think as a community, I think the variety will be much greater.
Yeah.
I think the idea of meta then is lost as far as a class meta.
They're clearly pushing away metas. It's very clear in what they're doing with the game that they are pushing away metas, and I say that because now they're moving so that all power weapons are now in what are called power weapons.
Right.
I know it sounds stupid when you think about it, but when you stop and sit down and realize snipers and shotguns and fusion rifles were all power weapons, when you stop and go, wait, so are rocket launchers and oh, they're all power weapons. Oh, wait a minute. Now I'm curious how that affects PvE. As I only got limited play on both PvE and PvP, I am curious, like, basically I'm referring to a raid. I don't know how it's going to affect a raid, but I'm curious. But those are all power weapons. Now. So now you get 2 primaries, and the first thing someone said to me was, I'm so excited, and I didn't think to try this in-game, which is so dumb of me, but they went, I threw on a scout rifle and a hand cannon. And at a long range, pop, 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 they're running at me, switch, close range, pop, 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 pop. And I was like, if that's what you play, you go SMG auto rifle, you know, long range auto rifle, pop, 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 close range, brrr, you know, like, there's a setup for these things, and I'm just like, wow, like that's so cool to think about. Like we don't ever think that way.
Sniper and hand cannon. Hand cannons are prime. I mean, sorry, sidearms. Sidearms are primaries now.
Sidearms. Yeah.
It kind of goes to the...
I think sidearms are stuck in the power, or not power. The energy weapons. So they're secondary weapons still.
And SMGs are only energy weapons, as far as I've understood.
But you switch them out like your primary.
Yeah.
Yes. But here's the thing. So you have kinetic and you have energy.
Right.
Like hand cannons can be both kinetic or energy. Like they come in different varieties. I think sidearms and SMGs are all energy. I think.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I've been led to believe. I like it because it and this goes back to, I mean, this is very Halo-esque, but you had assault rifle, you had SMG, you had pistol, you had these basic primary weapons that you did most of your gunfight with. And then you fought over the shotgun, the sniper, the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher. You fought over these particular points, and it was solely for whoever got that one person got it. Whereas now it's, hey, everybody can get this kind of thing. So I do like that it's very similar in that respect, but it's still the gunplay is, from what I could tell, and Blue can confirm this, it's still very Destiny-esque. It's not necessarily Halo where...
Now, what do you mean by that? Like the way a single gun, like you're holding a gun, you're shooting it?
Yeah, the feel of shooting guns in Destiny.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Let me step back real quick and explain just a little bit of background on my playing experience in LA. I got to play the story mission, I got to play the strike, and I played 2 rounds of PvP. Or actually, I played the story mission twice, but I played a PvP round on PS4 Pro and one on PC. What's important to point out, the PC round was easily the most comfortable in terms of setting, but I was brand new to the platform because I'm not good at shooters on PC yet. As for the strike, the story mission and the PS4 PvP, we had people standing in line right next to us, sitting in chairs that I personally didn't find uncomfortable, wearing I'm sorry, I have to plug this. Razer headsets are horrid. Do not buy Razer headsets. They gave me headaches. I literally finished the strike with no sound because I was like, I'm going to get a migraine if I keep these on. Razer headphones are terrible. But headphones that I didn't like, and there's just people, like with the strike, we were sitting on these stools and there's people literally like crammed around us. So it wasn't a comfortable scenario. So I'm trying to get as much out of this as I can. And the only time that I really could like sit and breathe, I played PvP and I sat next to a man I didn't recognize. And in the event that he watches this or hears this podcast, I apologize that I didn't recognize you. For all I know, you're Lyric or someone. I have no idea. But then it was me, Cyborg, this man, and Miss Team KK on a team. And we did very well. It went very well as a whole, but I struggled so much that I literally, the only time I used my super, which was the new roaming Titan Smash, which is cool, judging by what I saw, I literally at the end of a round used it and was like, oops, I hit the wrong button. That's how that happened. So my PC experience was more of just like a looking at a visual thing. Everything else, I was out of my realm. You know, I prefer Xbox. I don't have an issue with PS4. In fact, sorry, I'm not being paid to do this. These Destiny 2 control freaks are amazing. When they come out, buy them. I love them. They're perfect.
Are they the gold ones?
Yeah. They're so nice. I love them.
I was gonna pick some up. Now I'm gonna have to.
They're so good. I literally have been holding off on buying new ones, and my old ones fell apart, and I only had one left on my controller. And I was like, all right, I'll put these on. I was like, okay, yup. But I was in a position, I had a brand new PS4 Pro controller, so the thumbsticks weren't broken in. I was sitting in a chair that had me reclined like this. If you guys watch my stream, I sit right here when I play. I'm upright. I don't sit like this when I play video games. So I'm sitting like this with a PS4 controller that's not broken in, and I'm playing on a screen that's like 45 inches wide when I normally play on a 27 inch. So like everything I'm used to was thrown out the window. So how did things play? It's really hard for me to tell. And how did the game play? I enjoyed it for what it was, but until I get to play it in the comfort of my own home, I can't thoroughly comment. And I don't think anyone can. So I think that's for people who are listening to other people who were there talk about it, worth listening to that little bit of grain of salt. You are way out of your element when you play this game at these events, which this is my first time doing it. And I was sitting there, literally, the first time they handed me a controller and I'm playing the story mode, there is a line of about 100 people 6 feet away from me watching me play. This big fat dude reclined like this. I compared
in a highlighter orange shirt.
In a highlight orange shirt, highlighter orange shirt. Yes, if you watched the reveal, look for me. I'm everywhere. It looked like an otter trying to crack open a mollusk. Like it was.
So to Khan's point, sort of, the thing I think that sets I think one of the defining things that sets Destiny apart from other first-person shooters is the way that the guns feel.
Yes.
You feel like that's a hand cannon. You feel like that's an auto rifle. It's weird. It's not the vibration of the controller.
This removed that. I will say that right now. The only kill I got with a fusion rifle was with one of these, and it felt fucking weird as hell. It didn't like it, and I will say my mouse. I can't see it. You can't see it. I have my mouse. Oh. Sorry, I'm clicking all sorts of shit. Okay, stream's still live. We're good. But I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with mouse and keyboard, but I have 3 years of Destiny ingrained in me, and charging up a fusion rifle by going didn't feel the same as pulling that trigger and feeling that vibration and then letting it go. You know what I mean? And I'm a Fusion fan. You guys know that that highlighter orange shirt that said Voop on it with a fusion rifle. It just didn't feel right, and that made me a little concerned for PC. The PC looked great, it played awesome, but it didn't feel the way it does on console. So I'm kind of curious how that comes off down the road.
But as far as console play goes, similar experience?
Oh yeah. Oh, console. I mean, again, with the grain of salt of everything I just explained, It did. It felt great. I enjoyed the weapons. SMGs, I'm really glad that we pushed and pushed and pushed for them to add SMGs because they're a fucking disaster and no one is ever going to use them. But we have them and now we know. Like an entire SMG clip probably won't kill somebody. It's a shit show. They're fun in PvE, but in PvP, nightmarish.
I was gonna say, it looked, the only time I saw them used effectively was in one of the videos of the story.
Yeah.
In one of the videos of the story, I saw it used effectively, and everywhere else, it looked like trash.
Yeah,
they're very niche. Like, you either destroy an enemy, or you miss every shot.
Sombra still has a place in Overwatch, so, you know, if you learn how to play it.
And also, balancing could be totally different when it comes out. We know this.
Exactly, because the other one that was worth pointing out was sidearms. Sidearms, not what we're playing with right now. We are in sidearm meta, and I switched to the sidearm I want to say I use a sidearm on PC. In PC, I actually did very well on PC because most people that I was playing against were not PC players. Surprise! Destiny players aren't great on PC. Go figure. And so I did pretty well on the PC, and the sidearm, it takes like a clip and a half to kill somebody. It's not like now where you can get 4 or 5 good wormwood shots and they're dead. They are sidearms. You shot everything out of this gun, so you pull out your sidearm and finish them off. That is their purpose now.
Well, I
very
feel like
clearly.
That's just, and this is just from what I've seen and heard, is that Destiny 2 is slower gameplay. That your guns do less damage. It takes 3 melees.
It's
now
not.
to kill
I don't
somebody.
think that it's the guns do less damage. People keep saying that, and it might be true, but we also don't know the damage it takes to kill a Guardian. I think that what the biggest difference is your grenades are now more used to control areas. Your abilities are now like they're all roaming. So if you're like, I'm going to use Thomas knows the name of it, the new Blade Dancer, the Blade Twirler.
Dawnblade.
Pole Dancer.
Pole Dancer.
Yeah.
If you're going to use the Pole Dancer, you're probably going to have a better chance of getting kills. Arc Striker or Strider?
Strider.
Arc
like
Strider.
Striding.
Yeah, the Arc Strider is likely to get more kills more consistently than the Blade Dancer because I don't think you're going to see as many things that are what I refer to as reactionary supers. I don't think they're going to be as many Titan Slams, Nova Bombs, things like that. The reactionary supers. I would even call the
Panic Slams.
Well, the Panic Slams, yes, but the Tickle Fingers.
Storm Trance.
Storm Trance because the landfall. Landfall is a reactionary. You can use landfall the same way you can use a Titan Slam if you know what you're doing. I don't think you're going to have reactionary... And the bow as well. I don't think you're going to have reactionary supers the way that we do in D1. D2 is going to be much more about tactical gameplay. It's clearly ramping up to be an MLG game.
Well, that's what I was saying. So, like I was saying, the guns may not actually do less damage, but the overall gameplay is slower. It takes longer to kill somebody. You can't just roll around a corner and be pop, pop, pop and kill somebody. It takes timing, thinking, and strategizing to a certain degree in order to secure a win. You can't.
So it actually feels like you're wearing the armor that you have on.
Yeah. No, and it's not even to a certain degree. You're right. And you have to remember the only PvP game mode that we played, which was the countdown game mode. Which was round-based and had limited revives. It was tactical to shit. My very first round, I ran in, I was like, I got this! I didn't know it was a round. I thought it was like Clash, so I just went for it. And then I died, and it was like waiting for respawn, and I was like,
what?
Okay! Like, I had no idea. So...
I think that's a good... I think it's a good push on their side is in order to try and bring back what Crucible has become nowadays, where you either get the first shot and you win, or you get surprised and you're dead. You can take a hit or two and go, wow, okay, this isn't the right play. Back up, take a second, think about it, and come back into it. Whereas I feel like Destiny Crucible right now is very punishing if you don't have superior map awareness. Like if you come around a corner and there's a guy staring down the lane, you're done. Whereas I feel like in we'll see how it goes, but I feel like in the new one, you could make a mistake and still survive.
I think the biggest difference in what you just described, and I know that was a single scenario, but I think that that's very accurate to Destiny 1, is that they've removed those weapons that are staring down the lane. A lot of things now are tactical movements, flanking, heading to a point. When do you push? It's not Overwatch, but things that you think about when you play Overwatch.
Well, that's what I was saying. They've removed that aspect because they push those weapons into one category that focuses you to have to make a tactical decision. Do I grab this weapon or
so do we see fire teams setting up like, okay, I'm going to be sniping, you're going to be vooping? You know, do we see that happening? What? Is he pooping? What is going on?
Emergency poop. I think it's very possible, but I still feel like they're going to play to their strengths because you're going to have people who have different play styles. Like Blue. He's not much of a sniper or shotgunner. He's very much a mid-range Vooper. He likes having those energy weapons where he can secure mid-range. And you're going to have people who are very aggressive, who are going to have auto rifles, SMG, and then maybe with a shotgun, who are going to be those rushers and stuff like that. So yes, I do feel that there's going to be people who play to their tactical niche, their game style, but I don't think that's going to be a controlling factor. I think it's still, because it's heavily reliant on primary gameplay, because though those people are going to have those power weapons, not everybody's going to be able to get them. Like, everybody's going to have them on the team.
I also saw that power ammo only drops for the person who pulls it.
Well, that was what I was getting at, is that...
Yeah, that's...
If you want your whole team to have that, you have to go around to each place and hope that the enemy team isn't already there waiting for you to try and get it. If you're wanting that power weapon sweep, you may get a chance where you can get a power weapon, and you can take advantage of that. But I feel, as a whole, people are going to have to rely more on just sole gun skill, zone control with their supers and grenades, and being tactical, rather than, do I have shotgun, sniper, heavy ammo, and can I one-shot somebody with my super right now?
So does that push out the casuals?
I still feel people can go in and play, but there's definitely going to be more of a focus for people who want that style of gaming. Like, I mean, look at Call of Duty, for instance. You have people who just want, or Halo. You have people who want to just go play big games, 16 people 8v8, and then you have people who just want to play SWAT, the really super sweaty headshots only game. So I feel like if they introduce enough game types, people are going to go to where they want it, or that particular type of game.
Well, the other thing worth noting too is someone who, and I'm going to make another comparison to Overwatch because I'm playing a lot of it and I'm in love with it. As someone who I genuinely believe that I'm a pretty decent Overwatch player. I'm actually trying. I'm literally saying this out loud in order to build up my confidence to say I'm a competitive Overwatch player, because I think I am. I'm currently placing with what I believe are very, very intense bronze players, and I see the gameplay that they're doing, and I can see how it's evenly matched when you're playing on that level. But then I also watch players like Tim the Tap Man, who are trying to stay in Grandmasters right now, and I'm watching them and going, listen, I'm pretty good at this game and I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Like, so I think Destiny has the potential to do the same thing. Like, you know what? Hey, what are you using in your power slot? I don't know. Whatever. Like, those people are going to have a place. You know, as long as they match it right.
Oh, wait, I love the term power slot. Anyway.
I don't know if that's a sexual thing or
you
not.
Plan on filling your power slot later, Rams? What's going on here?
I mean, as a male, I like power weapon.
You said power slot, by the way.
Did I say the power slot? Okay.
I know a few people who would love to put a rocket in their power slot. You know what I mean?
Anyway, don't ruin my joke.
I don't even know what the fuck your joke was. I'm just making it rude now.
Making fun, but he didn't say power weapon. He said power slot.
It's a slot for a power weapon. It's power slot.
I am concerned because
I think it's also a lottery system.
I think there are a lot of PvP players that are competitive, that are solo players, that will run into people on their team that are these casual, I don't know what I'm running, I'm just playing, I'm trying to get a bounty done. And if it is this type of tactical gameplay, they're going to get even more frustrated with, instead of just like, why are you taking B? We need A and C. Now it's going to be like, what the fuck are they running? Where are they going? You know, it's going to be a lot more of that frustration, and it may push people out.
I feel like that's going to be inevitable, though, and that's why they have a skill ranking system, so that you're not always going to be put into a group where it's a bunch of people who want to just play casually. I love the fact, like with Overwatch, if you want to go play quick play, you can play quick play. You're going to get people who are really good, you're going to get people who are really bad, and then you go into comp. Most of the people who are in comp are playing comp because they want a competitive style of game. And I feel like, hopefully, with Destiny 2, they implement a sort of system, a ranked system, where people can go in and play really sweaty competitive games because that's the style of game. Sometimes I just want to roll into a Crucible match and dominate the floor and then just be like, suck it. You guys sucked. And I want to do that sometimes. But that's not always the case right now with Destiny 1 right now, is because you go into a game, more than likely, you're going to get paired with people who have a similar skill type, so you can't just go in there and mop the floor. It's going to be sweaty no matter what right now.
You're going to have a hard time.
You're going to have a bad time.
I don't know what I was thinking. I drank too much.
It happens.
Oh,
yeah,
but they didn't confirm ranked playlists.
They didn't complain. They didn't confirm ranked.
Not yet.
There's a lot of things that are still very much so in the dark. Mm-hmm. We couldn't even. Honest to God, definitely. I was under the impression I was going to be able to record some gameplay. The fact that I could not was really disappointing. Realistically, I wish that I had been closer with somebody who was there that could, so I could have just like hopped in and be like, "Can I just play a strike on your time? Like, please let me do this." But there was so many things I would have loved to just go through and just slowly pan across every weapon and look at all the different perks that were on there. They're not listed by name, but they'll tell you what they do. There was one on a hand cannon that said you have a faster reload time dropping this clip, but you lose all the ammo in this clip. And I saw that and was like, that's the thing that every first-person shooter ever has ever needed. Like that, like, I don't know if I agree with it. I don't know if it'll be something I ever want to use, but who the hell hasn't played a first-person shooter and been like, what happens to all those bullets? Why are they still in my clip? Like, I don't understand what just happened.
Or the Reaper effect. You just
Reaper's just like, these shotguns aren't good enough. Neither are these.
Now, I do have to say, though, I think with the people that were able to record, there was moderation as far as what they could and couldn't think, because some people were saying they couldn't look at all the guns and all the perks for a long amount of time because they don't. They wanted people to be able to go in and experience those when the game releases. They didn't want, oh, hey, here's everything that's going to be coming out for Destiny 2, like with the subclasses and all the perks, and here's what the armor does, and here's how you can vary your armor. I think they very much moderated what you could and couldn't record, but I do agree it would be really cool to kind of have some sort of heads up as far as what we could prepare ourselves for with gunplay. I think it would be cool.
But you know, they're going to have reveals. They're going to have streams.
Well, that's
dedicated to from everything from here's the score to here's the balancing that we're working on. Like they do that.
Well, that's what they're going to build up hype, and that's how they build up hype is, hey, here's a taste. Here's a little treat. All right, you got to wait for the whole cookie jar.
Are you guys more into give me everything now, or I want to experience it on day one?
I want to experience.
I want day one. I'm not even streaming it.
Depends on the game.
Something like this, where very intricate.
Why hit the button? I play with it with my toes all the time because I got that ADHD thing going on, and I felt like people were getting sick of the spinners, so I play with my pedal with my, and so sometimes this just happens. And Hoop, what about like Shadow of War? Do you want like anything, or do you just want to figure it out as you go?
I've been watching every single one of the Shadow Wars update videos, actually.
But update videos are different, though. I'm talking about if they did like a 2-hour like info explosion, would you sit through the whole thing, or do you want to figure it out as you go on day one?
I like that word.
I guess, is it... So, again, it's situational. Honestly, unfortunately, it is situational. If it was like, well, here's the entire story in 2 hours, I wouldn't watch that. But it was like, hey, here's your skill trees that you go through. We're going to go through each one of these skills and talk about them. I'd watch it. Just because they show the skills, I may not pick some. I may go off a different route in another one. Or what I do in the campaign may completely change what it even matters with skills. So I don't give a fuck about skill videos, stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but that's different. I'm talking about, like, I frankly feel like I made a mistake in I watched like one of the fights in Darksiders 3 because I have a mega crush, I hit it on purpose that time, with a girl at IGN, and she was doing the coverage of Darksiders 3, and I was just like, I'm just gonna watch anything she does. But it was like a story mission, and now I'm like, oh, they actually beat a boss in this story mission, and now I feel like
story missions I wouldn't, story stuff I wouldn't necessarily watch.
Like, I enjoyed listening to her talk about things because she's cute, but I kind of wish I had reserved that information for, listen, if my celebrity crush is a gamer at IGN, I'm gonna talk about it, all right?
Fucking nerd.
I know, I'm the worst. Why can't I just have a normal crush? But Alana Pierce, before everyone goes and digs everywhere. I like Alana Pierce. But...
We asked.
There's someone who was going to dig and start asking questions. There's a streamer, Thomas, was going to dig and ask a lot of questions. So I figured I'd just rip it off quick like a Band-Aid. I haven't really been quiet about that either, though. But that being said, I actually, like Casey in chat said, she's avoiding all gameplay footage, and I commend that, because one of my biggest concerns with Destiny 2 launch is that I'm going to know too much, because like Rise of Iron, I felt like I knew everything. And I don't want to know everything about Destiny 2. In fact, the fact that they let me play with 3 exotics kind of pissed me off. I was like, because guys, I'm going to be honest, and I'm sorry if you didn't want to know this. The exotics that I played with were shit. And I didn't like them. They weren't fun. They didn't add to my experience. In fact, I hated them. And I was like, oh, now that's in my head. Like, I only got to play with the auto rifle in PvP. It was shit. I only got to play with the hand cannon in PvP. It was shit. I played with the SMG in PvE, and that was okay, but not enough for me to switch out something else that I might enjoy more. So I was just like, I wish I didn't know this.
There are going to be hundreds, apparently, of exotic.
Yeah, I think they said that in the first one, too. And
there's hundreds of exotics in Tampa. Dance clubs.
Yeah. They say the same thing about Borderlands. You don't use most of those guns.
I mean, that's true. I wish... I remember my first... We all do. I remember my first exotic was Patience and Time, which I later was like, this gun is stupid. Hawkman, nice.
Mida.
I hated the Mida in year 1. The Mida and the Mida and the Universal Remote were these guns that I was like, oh, great. And I just put them away. Like, I didn't care.
I used the Universal Remote a lot.
A lot of people did, I found out later. But mine was Patience and Time, and it dropped, and I was just like, oh my god, I got an exotic! And I immediately was like, I'm never taking this off. This is my weapon now. This is what I use. And later on, I was like, that gun kind of sucks. Like, but I got to figure that out on my own, and this time they were just like, hey, you don't get the excitement of this dropping. We're putting it in your inventory. We know you're going to use it.
It could change.
You're totally right, but the excitement of that dropping now is gone. Like, It's just gone.
That's what you get for reviewing a game early.
But why would you put the exotic crap in there? I was expecting to play with white and green weapons, which are the lowest and the second lowest.
Because they got to give you a little bit of a tease of a little bit of everything.
Everything was legendary or exotic. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know if maybe it's just because they were pandering to the people that were going to be there, which were people that clearly were very competent with the game. I don't know. But I was a little bummed that they gave me an exotic. I don't want to know anything. That's why the day one I have my fire team set. I'm excited about it, and I'm not going to talk to anybody because I want to be surprised by everything that I can.
If you were getting grays and blues, though, like they wouldn't have
been amazing.
Well, they wanted to give you the Destiny experience, and 90% of your Destiny experience is not with your grays and blues. That's just your leveling period.
Oh, that's true. There was exotics in the beta.
Leveling is a small percentage of what Destiny is. People level fast. People level at different rates, but generally leveling is step one. Everything else happens after you level.
Not only that, but I mean, it's a promotional event for Destiny 2. They're not going to promote, like Rams is saying, the trash stuff that when you get it, you're immediately going to throw it away when you get better stuff. They're going to promote, hey, look at this cool armor that you can get for your end game items. Look at these weapons you can get for your end game, because that's where most of your gameplay is going to be, is in these things. So they're not going to put stuff in there where when you get into the game, when it actually releases, to be thrown away. When they're promoting it, trying to hype it up, they're going to be like, look at these cool weapons. Even if the gameplay of it, you got to say the aesthetics of certain exotics just look cool. This looks like a badass weapon.
Oh,
I may never really use it, but so that people could be like, wow, look at this hand cannon that literally looks like you're putting in a charge into it, a mine. I mean, it looks cool. Yeah, you may never... I mean, look at some of the exotics that we have now. There's some guns that if you use it, it's very, very rarely, and it's simply for the fact that you want to give it a shot. Do you use it competitively? Do you use it in the raid? No, probably not.
I think Super Good Advice is one of the coolest looking... Is that weird?
No, not at all. I agree.
I think Super Good Advice is awesome.
But
never use it.
It actually is awesome in Vaulted Glass, but you got to know where and why.
Yeah, and so I think that's where that side of it comes, is it's a promotional event. They want to sell you the game. Yes, the experience may be a little bit dimmer for you because you actually got to play with it prior to it dropping, but for like everybody else in the world, they only get to see it through somebody else's eyes if they want to. They don't have to go to it. Whereas you did volunteer to go do this and play the game, so you got a brief taste of what it was, but it wasn't like you're saying, day one, I have no idea what's coming at me. You got a brief taste, and yeah, it may not have been exactly what you were hoping for, but you kind of did sign up for it to taste it.
No, absolutely.
I don't know if we want to move to a different part of Destiny, but one of the things I've been thinking about. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot is the caves. I forgot what they're calling them. The caves, basically.
Lost sectors.
Lost sectors. And the interactive NPCs that are going to be out in the world, right?
Yeah, I think it's adventures are the interactive NPCs where they've got basically quest lines from what I've understood, and lost sectors, which is kind of like what Hoop was saying, where it's your dive and dungeon kind of thing. You dive.
I don't think it's going to be. Let's not
farmable bosses. They said farmable bosses.
Farmable bosses. Let's not over.
It's not a dungeon, but it's.
It sounds like you literally go into a cave and fight a boss. Now it could be more than that, but they literally just say you go into a cave and fight a boss. So to me, I immediately pictured you walk down a little bit of a path. There is a powerful enemy and a couple smaller enemies. You fight them, you kill them, you get the key, you open the chest. That's how I pictured it, and I don't personally. I'm going to encourage people to think that way as well, because I would much rather have a smaller expectation for what these things are than expect them to be giant, level-sized caves.
They're not strikes or anything.
Assume the worst so that it can only be better.
Because to me, the second they showed that map, the second they said lost sectors, the second they said bosses, keys, loot, yada yada, I was like, oh, be all the things about Horizon Zero Dawn, my first platinum on PS4, might I add, that I loved. Please be everything that I loved about that game. And that is such a massive request that I'm trying to actively dumb down my expectations of what those worlds will offer.
So my concern, and
why do you always start with your concern?
Because
she's a concerned lady.
Maybe be optimistic. What are you excited about? Me, I'm excited about having more world to explore.
My thoughts on this. My thoughts with Ramsbug. On NPR. My thoughts are, I don't want to be like every other game where you get into your first lost sector or your first NPCs. But not lost sectors. What's the other new thing?
Adventures.
Okay, so you get your first adventure thing, and it's go kill 5 mud crabs. And then next time it's 10 rats. I don't want the same experience that I get from other games. I want them to do this in a different way, completely from other games. And I have a feeling it's not going to be that way. I have a feeling we're going to get to our first ones, and maybe your first one's going to be too hard for you. But it's going to be generally the same thing. I need you to go get this item from this area and then bring it back to me. I hope that they're able to use the expansive lore and the multitude of enemies and weapons and challenges and things that they've already adopted, like bounties and stuff like that, to make those different than other games. And that's what I look for. So what I look forward to in Game of the Year in my favorite games is something that does revolutionize gaming, that does take it forward into something that's better than what's come before. And I think Destiny has a chance to do that if they can pull these things off in a different way.
I would love it. I mean, I think we all would love to be able to go in and experience a brand new style of gaming within Destiny. I feel personally the way that Destiny is set up to be more so a shooter than an MMO is it's gonna be a guided patrol mission, or it's gonna be like your typical roll into this thing, do a mission kind of thing, they're just basically taking story missions and transitioning them to adventures.
But what if these adventures do things like create a public event?
I would
that's
love
just
that.
one idea, but they could adopt still in the style of Destiny. They could adopt these in brand new ways.
What I personally would love to see within Destiny would be, I'm going to reference Guild Wars 2. They had dynamic events where you would basically participate in these events, and it would shape the world for a certain amount of time. So say you have a public event where you got to defend a satellite, or not, what is the
warsat?
A warsat. You have to defend a warsat, and say you fail that public event. Well, maybe for that a certain amount of time, that area is now infested with Fallen, and you now have to go back and, as a new public event, take back the warsat. I would love to see dynamic events where they would do stuff like that, but I feel I say that I feel the limitations within Destiny prevent that, because
So we've really avoided the FPS talk tonight, which is
there's really nothing to talk about, but
yeah, I mean, it's a big thing. People are talking about it, but and I think that something that limiting FPS, or not expanding FPS, does allow Destiny to do is create more dynamic events like you're talking about. Also, with dropping first gen, I mean, Destiny 1 was made for first gen console. With
last gen.
Sorry, last gen, not first gen. Wow, that's weird. Last gen consoles. With dropping that completely, we have the game we have now that ran on last gen. So moving it and completely dropping that and being new gen, next gen, I think the potential for having that sort of extra dynamics is there, because they're not going to be having to stretch their to get that done.
I would hope so. I know that they have said, though, So I know this was a sore topic for a lot of people. 30 versus 60. They stated that they couldn't do 60 on console simply because the current gen didn't have enough CPU power in order to handle the amount of data that was coming into it along with 60 frames. They said GPU side, yeah, the consoles could handle it, GPU side, but the sheer amount of data that was having to come in by throwing in the additional frames, they couldn't have it. So from my side, that also kind of puts up a little bracket. If they couldn't handle it going that, how much additional space do they have for computing power in order to do these events that we kind of would hope for, where like let's say there's a kind of like a Winter's Day festival where it's not necessarily, it's this huge community-wide event that could possibly shape the way that Destiny moves forward. Say the Cabal are making a strong push on one of these planets, and it's our job as the community to try and push back the Cabal. And let's say, as a community, we do it. So, yay, we said it. But what if also it was set up to where they could say, oh, you didn't push back the Cabal. Here's a new revamped version of this thing. Like, so, say we had to defend the city within Earth, and they're like, we're making an event where the Cabal are making a strong push towards the city. As a community, we would have to, I guess maybe like on For Honor, where they have you have to, the Vikings get so many points, and you have to get to this certain checkpoint in order to secure the city. Mm-hmm. Well, what if we don't do that? I think it'd be really cool for them to be able to set up an event where, if, say, we don't take back the city, now they have to progress the story where we as a community put in all this time to try and make this event happen, but we didn't, so we now have to deal with the consequences. I think that would be really cool.
That sounds like a pipe dream.
It sounds like a pipe
dream.
So not necessarily, though. This type of thing is happening currently on apps. A lot of mobile apps have weekend events where you complete a certain amount of whatevers, and as everyone that has the app builds towards a goal, and sometimes it's hit and sometimes it's not. Now, whether or not that affects what happens next, usually it's story based because it's an app, but it does affect an outcome. Destiny and Bungie has a very active live team.
Yeah, another.
They could be doing that.
I mean, so that's not something that hasn't been done before. Looking at Warframe actually had an event kind of like that where something changed, where an event caused the relays to be attacked, because relays are the safe places for Tenno. And the players basically had to decide which relays they were going to defend and keep. And the others exploded. They were no longer around. You cannot go to them. So that is something I see in a lot of PC games, but as something that is on consoles, I haven't really seen that too much.
Is it possible, though?
Potentially. It depends on the company. Bungie, I don't really think is a company that's really gone with stuff kind of like in that field of play. But if they do want to expand, then yeah, maybe. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Well, the only thing I could hope, though, for too, is they are, in a sense, partnering with Blizzard. The people who've designed, I mean, they're WoW, Diablo, these dynamic RPG, MMO kind of games where, yes,
Are they partnering with Blizzard? Or
are they just using their servers?
I think they're just using the servers, and it's a strictly business decision, because otherwise they'd have to pay Valve a cut of their sales, whereas if they keep it on Blizzard, part of Activision, they save money. It's a business choice.
I'm saying is it's a part of Activision already, with Blizzard and Bungie, so I don't think it's so far-fetched to say, hey, Blizzard, we got some ideas. What do you guys think? Or what would be the possibility of implementing this into the game? I mean, yes, the likelihood, not all there, but I think the fact that they've got those resources that they could pull from if they wanted to opens up that possibility.
It depends, because you need to remember the devs are Bungie.
Oh, yeah. No,
the devs are Bungie, and Bungie may not want to have to work with Blizzard. Because I will say, Blizzard, in certain aspects, can be assholes.
Well, I was just saying they have that tool. If they so, I feel like it's a lot easier than, say, if they wanted to go to Valve and say, hey, we're wanting to do this. Since they're already underneath that umbrella, Activision, they could go to Activision and say, hey, we'd really like to get the opinions on Blizzard's side. And Activision can be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Blizzard, get with Bungie and do that. And so I don't necessarily see that as a...
The other thing is Blizzard's past history of doing changes hasn't necessarily been great for consoles. They definitely give more love to PC than they ever do to consoles.
Which is, I think, a good notch into Claude's theory, because I'm sure they've relied on a lot of Blizzard experts to help roll out the PC version of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to. That's where their experts are. They're not at Bungie, you know.
I think that's just like I said, it's a tool. They could say, hell no, Blizzard, we want this to be a Bungie solely developed thing, and then just use them for the networking framework in order to play their game on Blizzard's Battle.net. That could be that. Well, like I said, my hopes would be they'd be, hey, we've got this huge resource that millions of people play with, whether it be Overwatch, WoW, Diablo, I mean, all these huge titles, and be like, what aspects could we possibly incorporate from these major AAA titles and pull them into Destiny and draw in a new crowd of MMORPG kind of games, which Destiny isn't one of those, but they could have elements of it.
Kind of drawing back on my original point of wanting something different and that helps move gaming forward. It doesn't necessarily have to be more dynamic. It doesn't be, stretching the limits of the content or anything like that. Some of the best changes have been the simplification of games, just strategy and story and things like that can influence the way gaming happens. It doesn't have to be harder, faster, longer. Like, it can kind of take a step back and simplify itself to move gaming forward. And that's all I'm sort of asking. Like, don't make the adventures and the caves, I forgot the name already. Don't make them, there we go, Lost Sectors. Don't make them like other things that exist. Just don't. You have opportunity.
I hear what you're saying.
Now, question. This was brought up way back in the beginning. I think Thomas, and we kind of touched about this when coming into Destiny 2. And it also touches on Age of Triumph. Would you like to see a nod to the people who have put countless hours and devotion into collecting the guns, performing activities? Would you like to see a cosmetic or a title or some sort of nod to say, wow, this person put lots of time into Destiny 1, so when somebody coming into Destiny 2 could be like, wow, where did you get that? And you can proudly say, I 100% completed the Age of Triumph book. And then they go, well, what was that? Well, I played Destiny 1 from the beginning and did every possible activity to its completion.
Was it with you, Blue, that I was talking about? Like, we were talking like they need a wall at Bungie of everyone that completes the book 100%.
We touched on that. That would be super nice, but more so, I it's funny, when I was at the event, people were kind of joking. How goofy would it be if they just gave us like a single stupid emblem for everything we did in Destiny 1? And I was like sitting there keeping my mouth shut. I know it's a weird concept that I kept my mouth shut, but I did. And listening to these people talking, I'm just like, I want that. I've wanted that since day one. The fact that I have on Xbox One, I have with the exception of one in the current book, which I will complete. I will, and I will drag your ass through it, ShadowCawn.
I know, I was waiting for it.
I, with the exception of one node, I have completed every single node in every single book. And I was a day one guardian. I didn't play the alpha or the beta because I was convinced at that point in time in my life that I was not going to play Destiny. We saw how that played out, but I've played every single thing that Destiny has offered since it launched, and I think that getting an emblem that in Destiny 2 that just says, you became legend in Destiny 1, because that's the whole thing, Destiny 1, become legend. I became legend in Destiny 1. Let me show that off in Destiny 2. And currently, there is nothing that they're offering, to our knowledge, that will allow that. And it's actually extremely upsetting to me to know that everything that I did is the loot grind. The entire game is a loot grind. As a loot grind, there's nothing to show for it in Destiny 2. And one emblem would satisfy that for me. Now, there's more people out there who are greedy, who are greedier. There's more people who are greedier. That doesn't sound right, but you know what I'm saying. Who will say, I want my last word, I want my emblems, I want my shaders, don't take away my favorite piece of armor, where are my exotics. There's people out there, there's all spectrums. People who say, I don't care, fresh start, I don't, give me this. I'm not saying that I want specifics for this person played the alpha, this person played the beta, here's an emblem for every single variation of the game. I'm saying you've completed everything in this game. You became legend, which is what the goal of Destiny 1 was. Here is your reward. A single emblem or a single shader, preferably an emblem, frankly, because I think they should stand out more, that says you did these things. And if they give me that, then I can flaunt that when I feel like it. It doesn't say I completed a raid, so beg me to help you through the raid. It doesn't say I completed the Nightfall this week, so help me through the Nightfall. It says I spent 3 years of my life putting thousands of hours into a game that I loved and helped grow and built a community around. This is who I am. I became legend. Yeah, and the Fleshman put in chat just now the I am legend emblem. Oh my god, if that's a thing, I might cry. Like, legitimately, if I log into the game, it says, we recognize your achievements of Destiny 1. We challenged you to become legend, and you did. There are a few among you. You became legend. Congratulations. Here's your emblem. I am legend. Not to be confused with that terrible Will Smith movie. And I would be like, thank you. Like, that's what I was hoping for. And you gave it to me. But they keep saying over and over again, nothing will carry over. You will get nothing from this. And I just sit there and go, why? Why is that a thing? Why are you sitting there talking to the people who have put thousands of, not hundreds, not tens, thousands of hours into this, and all you're saying is, congratulations, you get nothing. So I to your question,
I still
Shadow,
think a bungee wall is possible.
A what?
A bungee wall.
I hope a bungee wall is a thing. But to answer ShadowCawn's question of, do you think there should be anything to carry? I absolutely do. In fact, if they don't, I will. I know this is a powerful word, and I think it will be a travesty if they don't offer something to the, 2% of players who have achieved this become legend status. So maybe they're doing that whole I want to baby everyone, and I don't want everyone to be successful. Or not successful, but I don't want anyone to feel left out. But to me, I feel like it's an homage to the people who've put so much into this.
Well, that's what I was going to go with, is by doing that, for those people who couldn't, is that a slight against them? So for the people who didn't have the opportunity to do the raids because they didn't have guided games, or they didn't have these opportunities, is that a slight against them who may have put the hours into it? They may have just they may have played Destiny Strike and Patrols. I know there's plenty of people that I've seen on
Grandpa Guardian
on Reddit and stuff like that who have put countless hours into the game solely playing those aspects, but because they didn't do everything in the game, that they would be slighted. Is it easier for Bungie to say, we couldn't get everybody the opportunity to do this, so nobody gets it? Or, hey, here's those people who had people to play with, who were able to do this, here's your stuff, and for everybody else who put the hours in but didn't have the opportunity, sorry, SOL.
I've always said that I'm a fan of exclusivity in Destiny. I've always said it, and that's not only because without the help of Kotaku, my most successful YouTube video is exclusive emblems in Destiny, but more so to the fact of we live in a world of winners and losers. This is my opinion and no one else's. I'm not going to force this on anyone else in this conversation, but holy shit, who the hell is scratching knives against plates right now? Hoop, what are you doing?
I was moving something.
Noticed. No, but I do not. Maybe it's because of the way I was raised. Maybe it's because of the person that I've become. Whatever it is, I believe that we live in a world of winners and losers. Now, there's a spectrum. It's not you're one or the other, but. And that's not me slamming anybody, but I'm saying there are some people who have completed more than others in Destiny. This is not an opinion. This is not something that I'm throwing at anybody to be offensive. This is a statement of fact. There are people who have not completed a raid, and there are people who have completed hundreds of raids. I fall somewhere in the middle of there. And because of that, there are people who have completed everything this game has had to offer, including going flawless in trials, completing all the hard mode and challenge modes in all the raids, hitting rank 5 in Iron Banner. Like, everything this game has to offer, there's people who have hit that. Every single time it's come around, which I haven't done, every opportunity that these things present themselves with, every event, every possible anything, there are people out there who have done these things and saying you are not special to the people who have not completed half of this, in my opinion, is a shortcoming. Because it's those people who I think deserve to be celebrated. Everyone deserves to be celebrated, but not all on the same plane. And Bungie not offering, and all I'm asking is one emblem. I'm not asking for the world. I'm saying one emblem called I Am Legend. I like that. I like that, actually. One emblem that preferably was called I Am Legend to say, you spent 3 years playing Destiny 1. It was successful for you. You enjoyed it. You did everything. Here is your emblem. I don't think that's asking too much. But there's people out there who are going to say, can I buy your code? And it's like, to me, I just sit there and go, Can we just have nice things for the people who work for it? Can we for once say that people who work hard get good, like, exciting shit?
So Wasted on Destiny, the top guy, without his deleted character, which is nearly 250 hours, has 1,863 hours, which is
16,000.
Sorry, 16,000, which is 1 year, 48 weeks, and change. Yep. Of not orbit time, not social time, actual gameplay. Yep. A full year and 48 weeks actually playing.
Now, my caveat, and I agree with you. The world is set up. You got people who have the opportunities, who are gonna win things, who are gonna get stuff, and there's people who don't, and that's just the brutality of it. But I will say, because of the way that Destiny has always been and set up, it's not a hardcore gaming experience. It is very much meant for the neutral, casual player. Because it's set up that way, is it punishing to those who have played it that way to lose out on the opportunity versus people who have put countless hours into it and nod at them, even though the game is set up on a neutral level.
Listen, if you want to throw in a secondary emblem that says you put in 1,000 hours into Destiny, here's your emblem, fine. It is not going to be as exclusive as you achieved everything this game had to offer. Because I think it was, you even said there's a couple that you cannot complete from the Age of Triumph book, correct, ShadowCawn?
Yeah, no, I cannot 100% complete because I came in at Dark Below. And so no matter if I did everything in that book, there's still one node that I would never be able to complete. And I'm okay with that. I came in and I recognize that I'm not a day one player, and that's fine. I know how that goes. But I feel like people, and this is just the way that people are going to complain, say, oh, well, I didn't have the opportunity to get the 100% book, so why did that person get it and I can't? And
I don't care about the complainers. Complainers, I like that's where I'm going to differ from a lot of people. I do not care about the complainers. You feel like you've deserved something when the stipulations are put out as so. The stipulations are you completed this, this, and this. Whether you have an excuse, whether you're in the hospital with cancer, I don't care what it is. You didn't hit those things. I understand.
Confirmed Blue hate cancer.
That's it. Confirmed Blue hates cancer. You figured me out. No, regardless of what it is, there is. This is a hard truth about life. There's people who have legitimately lost jobs because they were hospitalized for too long, and their company was like, we can't afford to keep you on. I'm sorry. We'll pay you your severance. We gave you all your disability, but you've ran everything out, and we can't afford to pay. The Destiny should be able to say, I'm sorry you missed these things. These were the rules to what you needed to do this. I'm sorry. Here you go. For instance, they're not in like by any means this unrelenting god that just hates everyone. What's that gun that only one person has? The
Fate of All Fools.
The Fate of All Fools. They're not immune to like playing around with the idea of exclusivity in times of need or where people they feel like deserve it. To me, I look at it and go, Thomas points out I did all these things, but under your stipulations I wouldn't hit it. Sorry, Thomas, tough shit. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I looked at everything that was out there. Like I don't have all the achievements yet. Maybe they say you have to have all the achievements on Xbox One or PS4 prior to D2 releasing to get this. In which case, all of a sudden, I'm on a struggle because I don't have all the achievements, but I have everything from all the books. So now I have to work as well. So it's okay to set rules and say these are the guidelines in which you need to follow in order to achieve these things. And whether someone believes that those rules are unfair or not, the company has the right to say this is the way that it is. And it's going to be unpopular, but guess what? Blue Ranger is a fan of unpopular opinions. So I'm going to put that out there and say I want exclusivity in Destiny. I want things that to Grenader Jake, who has gone flawless 7,000 times to my 7, deserves something more than I do. I want something to Lono, who's done 900 raids to my 50. I want him to get something that I don't have. I believe that is okay, and I'm not going to be upset by it. And people who are upset by it, I think that they have to stop and realize that the world is not fair. So,
not arguing with you. I just like to throw counterpoints.
I just really like that discussion because I've always, since like I probably about a year into the game have been like, there is not enough exclusivity in Destiny to make me want. If they said right now, today, on May 24th, 2017, if they said you have to do X amount of raids to get this emblem in Destiny 2, guess who is now a Destiny streamer doing raids? Like that, and guess what? That would bring me back in. The huge opportunity wasted by Bungie, and it is an exclusive emblem for people who did X. And I would eat, sleep, and shit Destiny until I got that opportunity. I know it's gross.
I
would love to do. I mean, I would love I love that too. Like, I was really big into the original Guild Wars. And so when Guild Wars 2 came out, they were like, hey, we're going to implement this thing called the Hall of Monuments. And if you complete X amount of points, so that you, like, based on your activities and thing, you got a certain amount of points, we're going to give you certain exclusive items that nobody in the Guild Wars 2 is going to be able to get because you put in X amount of hours, you did X amount of activities, you completed all these things. I think that would be awesome because when you go in, yes, it's just it's going to be a bragging point. Oh, look how cool I am. But you can look at it and be like, this is something that I put the time into, that I earned, and that I can be proud of. Like, it's like a trophy. You look at it and you go, I did that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Whereas right now, the way that they've set it up, you've put all these hours in, done all these things. Come Destiny 2, you're at the same level as somebody who just comes into the game.
Can I just point out, Thomas pointed out, read his exact thing so that there's no confusion. Destiny already has elitist problems because of weapons and emblems, and it proved a detriment to the game.
Reading's hard.
Yeah, reading is hard. I wouldn't have written it that way. It proved detrimental to the game is what I would have written. Would it really be beneficial to do things that were even more exclusive? I've never once seen any emblem be detrimental to Destiny. Weapons, yes, and they fixed that. They fixed that. What's it called?
The Hawk Moon was really the only one.
No, the Galahorn. The Galahorn problem. Year one Galahorn.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you that.
What about Jade Rabbit?
I don't even have a Jade Rabbit. I'm talking about
Rabbit, it's PS4.
I understand that, but I'm saying in terms of detrimental means that you couldn't get into a raid without a Galahorn.
I wouldn't say it's detrimental at all.
That's what I'm talking about. Detrimental stuff, not exclusives. I'm talking about detrimental.
Nothing in Destiny is detrimental to game. But anyway,
the only detrimental thing to Destiny that I remember was year one Galahorn getting into raids. No,
if you didn't, nobody wanted you.
Exactly. No emblem that I'm aware of has ever been detrimental to Destiny in any way, shape, or form. I'm talking cosmetic items to say, I did this thing, and I would like to brag about it. Not, hey, I did this thing, and now I'm a stronger, more competitive Guardian than you. That is wrong, that is hurtful, and it is just shy of pay to win. The Scarab and Cat emblems had a similar effect. False. 100% false. I'm not even going to finish reading what you're saying. Never once has anyone been pissed or turned off the game because they didn't have a cat or scarab emblem. It gave them something to chase. I'm sorry, Thomas. You are wrong. Cosmetic items deserve to be exclusive, and I think that they should be in Destiny 2. And the fact that I think that there are things that you could achieve. Shit, if you're in the top 100 in SRL, give them an emblem. You know, like, I give people shit for stuff. Cosmetic items. Because guess what? I fought like hell to get that year one Moment of Triumph's emblem. I wore it for like a month. Like, that was the shit. I could not beat Skolas to save my life. I finally did it. And then I got bored of that emblem. But I had it, and I still do. I finally I flew to LA. I met everybody that's part of the Bungie dev team, and I finally got a Union of Light emblem. I didn't give it away. I plugged it in immediately on my cell phone and kept it forever because I wanted that shit. I flew to LA. I did all this work. Give me that shit. Thank you. Come again. Like,
you're not going to share?
No, I only had one.
What an elitist!
Listen, if I could tear it in half and give you half of one, I would have. But it's not the way it works.
I agree, though. Having items that are solely cosmetic don't affect you.
Thomas, it caused some people to be assholes to not want to play with them, but those people could go somewhere else. There were still places where the people that didn't have the emblems could get help. It didn't cause detriment to the game. It didn't break anything. It just means that some people became more assholes about it.
Within the game, it made zero difference. Now, like I was saying, there's some people who get the items, and this goes for any case. There's people who fight like hell to get a certain title within a company, and then they hold that title above everybody. They're like, oh, are you so-and-so title? Oh, well, I'm so-and-so title. That's just the way that life is. People are gonna hold things above people's heads no matter what, and people are just gonna be assholes. That's just the way that people are. But that doesn't change something that, like, within a video game, that makes it to where it changes the gameplay zero. If I've got a gun skin, like, so let's go, for instance, if rather than ornaments being able to be attained by anybody, if you had to complete a certain activity X amount of times to get that ornament, how is that changing the gameplay? It just changed the cosmetic of the gun. Somebody may look at it and be like, wow, that's cool, you put a lot of time in it. And some person may be like, yeah, I'm a fucking boss, I put all this time and I've got this ornament and boo-boo. But it doesn't change.
And then the assholes are going to go, if you don't have the ornament, but those are a percentage of a percentage of a percentage.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
It's going
to happen no matter what.
Yeah. I couldn't disagree with you more, Thomas. Let's just put it that way. You're saying this caused problems. Well, guess what else caused problems? The Taken King, April update, Rise of Iron, Age of Triumph. All of those things caused problems, as did the Destiny 2 reveal. The Destiny 2 reveal has caused me to have more arguments regarding frame rate than I've ever fucking dealt with in my life. And I'm saying I want an emblem in a game. One game for working my ass off for thousands of hours. And I know why you're on the other side of this, because by my stipulations, you wouldn't get it. And so you're one of the people that would be angry and feel that you deserve something that is outside of the rules of what the company sets. I'm pretending to be the company in this case, saying if you did all of these things, you get this thing. You're sitting there in chat saying, I would not get those things under those stipulations, so I am mad. I disagree with you. I think that people who did those things deserve those things, and I'm just going to disagree. I'm also going to hand this off really quick to Ramsbug while I go pick up my food. Hang on real quick. I'll be right back.
Well, here, I've got a question for who. Do you feel, and this goes for any game, do you feel exclusivity is a bad thing?
I don't give a fuck.
So just in general, you feel it doesn't matter whether it's in or out?
If it's cosmetic, I literally don't give a fuck.
So here's what I've been thinking, though. So as far as cosmetic game, exclusivity. Right now, Bungie pulls their exclusivity with RNG. I have a raid ship from Wrath, and it's badass.
Yeah,
and I got it.
How dare you?
I got it on my third raid.
What?
I've only done like 6. There's people that have over 80 completions of Wrath that don't have it. So right now their exclusivity is purely RNG's based. Not me, I say purely. They have the challenge emblems and things like that, which are exclusive. You have to do those challenges. But right now the really rare stuff is built behind RNG. The only issue, quote unquote, that I have with this, I don't actually have a major issue with it. I think it's a fine idea, is with the way the game is currently built, the things that are exclusive, like challenge emblems, that's an exclusive thing. Some people have them, some people don't. You have to complete a series of things in order to get that. They are attainable by anyone, though. What you're talking about is purely unattainable for some people. Whether that's they didn't have a PS4 or a game system at all. Maybe they are young and they just got their first game system in January. Like there are life events that happen, like jobs and family, that do prevent you from obtaining that. Whereas right now the exclusivity that is built into the current game is obtainable with skill. And so the only, again, quote, quote, issue I have with it is it's not necessarily the way that Bungie's doing things. It's not their norm to do that. Yes, they do have some exclusivity, but it's always obtainable behind either skill or RNG. Whereas that would totally not be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not the way that that's not their normal operations.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I would love to beat this dead horse for another hour, it is almost 11 p.m.
It's not dead enough.
It's not dead enough. And so, as this is the Weekly Apologies podcast, we are going to apologize for the douchebag things that we have done this week, or in the last 2 weeks in this case, because last week we were off as I was on an airplane, which, by the way, if I am a size 12-foot airplane seats are size 11 shoes, I no longer fit in them. So the diet begins tomorrow. Because I have 2 more sets of flights already planned for this year. So yay. But since we have 2 weeks to apologize for, I know people have things to apologize. You can put them in chat. You can put them in the Discord channel. ShadowCawn, it is worth pointing out that we never hold guests to the you have to apologize mentality. But you're welcome to participate if you so choose. But with most weeks, we start off the same way with the apologies, and that is with Lagnus, who leaves his apology hours in advance, and I have not read this yet, so let's see. It's Lagnus says, I'd like to apologize for all the humble and not so humble bragging I've done the last couple of weeks. I'm just the kind of person who, when life hands me lemons, I make an epic an epic tale of dragon slaying. I have no idea what that means, but you're forgiven, Lagnus. I have absolutely no idea what the fuck Lagnus is saying right there. Does anyone get it? Hoop, I know he spends a lot of time in your chat. Do you have any idea what he's saying?
I mean, yeah.
I think he's saying that when he's
saying when he likes taking the simple stuff and showing it as something far greater.
He likes to spin tails.
He likes to spin tails. All right. We'll accept that. Thomas says, I'd like to apologize to the teammates I snapped on last during 6v6 Capture the Flag on Overwatch. Bastion was really pissing me off. I also apologize to the controller I chucked at the wall and shattered. You apologize to an inanimate object. Good for you, Thomas. You're making waves.
Well, not apologize to the wall who got hit.
Yeah,
by the
right.
controller.
The wall's the one that I guess if you have to apologize to the wall, you have to apologize to the controller, because both of them are equally as useless and dumb.
Well, I think the controller lost that one. The wall's feelings weren't hurt. The controller got shattered.
No, the wall probably got hurt. The controller's dead.
It's not like when you hit a car, one car is totaled, the other one's fine.
It could be.
It's true, it could be.
If it's a tank.
Could be.
Anyone have anything to apologize for?
I apologize to the riot sessions from last Sunday. I needed a Sunday, and I didn't join us for the one-off. And it looked fun. I peeped in a little bit, and I'm really jealous that I wasn't there. But I apologize that I needed that time, and I wish I was there.
That happens. As 2 of us are here, I believe that we both forgive you. I don't know, maybe not ShadowCawn, because he put the whole thing together. I don't know.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like, I know, like, there was effort and all sorts of stuff, and I'm just like, I can't. I'm gonna take the day.
It's all good.
Shadow, you got anything? You can say no.
Sure.
Okay.
No, I apologize for all the shit that I give Blue all the time. Like, when he's like, last minute, hey, you want to be on this podcast? And then you find out, like, 5 minutes later that you're the second hand on the straw. So, I figured I'd apologize for that.
Oh.
Just the one thing. I mean, it's no big deal, though.
Would you like to read Fleshmad's Hoop? He put one in Discord.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry to the sub shop that's attached to my apartment. I won 3 things from their 1-year anniversary of opening. Since I have gotten the prize, I've been trying to find people to give them away to.
I don't understand what you're apologizing for. You sorry you won stuff? Is that a
His basically, Grandma gave him gifts. He's giving away Grandma's stuff.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, you're kind of a dick. You got anything to apologize for, Hoop, or have you been the patron saint of happiness for the last 2 weeks?
No, I'm an awful person. I just don't give a fuck. If anything, I should say I don't apologize for anything I do. Because I do it because I want to live with it. But I guess I apologize for putting my chat through a very finicky Norse accent on Monday that I've been practicing and wrecking my throat over.
Fair enough. I'll accept it. You have given worse apologies. I will accept that one. I'd like to apologize for. At times I feel as if in LA I was kind of a third wheel to the Destiny Reset podcast duo of Arrow Knight and Cyborg Sasquatch. So I'd like to apologize for any awkward third wheel moments that I may have provided while I was in LA. And I'd also like to apologize to ShadowCawn for not winning that round of pubs last night, because I totally should have won that round of pubs last night. It was 1v1 to win that fucking game and I lost. So, that's, I believe, it. Was there anything else? Thomas, you don't get 2 apologies, but the old lady forgives you. Anyway, thanks for putting up with the awkward silence. I view the podcast when there's no music as having awkward silence behind it. That's just me. Maybe you guys are like, it's better with no music. If that's the case, let us know. We're gonna end this YouTube recording right here, but thanks so much for coming by, guys.
Let them know where you can find them.
That's what I was going to next.
YouTube.
I wanted to just do that.
Because I realized about an hour into this, we never said ShadowCawn. Tell the people about who the hell you are and why you're here. So ShadowCawn, tell the people who the hell you are and why you're here.
I'm ShadowCawn, and I'm here because Blue had to pick somebody, and I wasn't his first choice.
We do podcasts without guests. We could have done.
I mean,
without.
He didn't have to choose anybody.
See?
He chose to choose you. Second.
And I chose you, but
it was Rams. It wasn't even me, so fuck you.
But I am on Twitch. I do the streaming thing. I do. But I do stream fairly often. Had a bit of a hiccup last night, but we'll be picking it right back up tomorrow, Friday, and then on Sunday I'm normally with a couple of these guys doing Dungeons and Dragons. Pretty average guy, variety caster, and all that fun stuff. But thank you guys for having me on this. I had a ball. I thought it was really fun.
We needed somebody, so thanks for being there, I guess.
Yeah, we had to scrape the bottom of the barrel, but sometimes scum rises.
Yep, might as well, right? Yeah, when in Rome, right?
I assume we just fished into the big bucket of white people and pulled someone out.
Yeah, that's what we did. I said, you know what? I need another white cis male gendered. ShadowCawn, if you're not familiar, I make jokes all the time that when I casted this thing, I picked Rams, a woman, and a black male to be my co-hosts, just so no one could complain. But that actually wasn't the original plan. It's just how it worked out. I originally started this thing with a white Texan male, so
we got a white Texan female instead.
Hope, tell the people where they can find you.
Hi, my name is Hippie. I'm a variety caster on Twitch. You can find me under Crazy Hippie 69 here on Twitch, streaming every single day, midnight to 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on Twitter and really anywhere else you may want to find me under Crazy Hippie. And Blue's ugly.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna disagree. Rams, where can the people find you?
I am Ramsbug. You can find me on Twitter at Ramsbug, where I post where I'm hanging out when I remember to post. And you'll find me modding around Twitch and being no, I do not have a God damn it.
Subscribe to her on YouTube. She puts out really good content.
I don't have a YouTube. I don't have a Twitch channel. I don't know why people follow me on Twitch. Like, I don't stream. God damn it.
The YouTube thing is my favorite joke. Every week. Every week.
But if you want to follow me on Twitter and hang out with me wherever I am.
And I'm the Blue Ranger. If you're watching this or listening to this, you're probably on one of my channels, but I'm a variety caster and part-time entertainer here on Twitch. And fuck YouTube. I'm still uploading these things to YouTube, but I'm fucking done with that shit. So YouTube is only getting the Riot Sessions and the Weekly Apologies podcast from now on. That is it. Those guys keep demonetizing all my shit, even if they have like 3 views. Fuck those guys. So I'm just done. YouTube, your adpocalypse is a nightmare. That being said, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry, that was my mini rant on YouTube. YouTube's really pissing me off right now. All the social stuff is in chat. Click on any of those things. I'm trying to be more active on Snapchat because Snapchat is apparently where the kids are at, and that sounds creepy as hell when I word it that way. I don't want to. I didn't mean it that way. That sounded terrifying. That sounded so gross. I hated that. I wish I hadn't said that.
Can we clip that, please?
I'm considering editing this out of the video, even though that would take me hours versus my normal just drag and upload that I do. Anyway, thanks for coming by for the Weekly Apologies podcast. We'll see you next Wednesday. See you on Snapchat. Bye.
Anyone 13 and under.
Oh, gross.